They might want to close the whole thing and start over.
Okay, you sure you wanna exit? Yes.
Now, so, hold on, I mean,
Oh, it's not letting me do anything on this board, Justin.
okay, so you should be the host now, you see that?
I'm not even there. The meeting is being live streamed by stating, I guess I got it, leave meeting, got it, what am I doing?
Nothing, you should just be the host.
I guess it just says, it's giving me a something, the meeting is being live streamed. By staying in the meeting, you consent to being live streamed. Anyone will access to the live stream can watch or share. And I say, should I say got it?
Yeah. And then it should say something like you were the host, cause yeah, so we're showing that plot right
It ain't even moving. Got it is just, okay, now assumption zooming. So,
now. Okay, so it's working. The YouTube, the Zoom part is working now.
so I have it on, so should I mute it?
Yeah, you should
Myself, Mr. Blanchard, Mr. Como, and Mr. Johnson is present. First item on the agenda is Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness Grant discussion. Don't sound like I have a lot of money for us.
Sir, if you
What
don't
day?
mind, we'll just have them introduce themselves and what positions they are with those, that's all right with you.
That's perfect.
Hey, I'm Ashley Deeds, I'm the regional coordinator for Region 8. I'm Dejan, I'm the area manager for Region 23 and
Good afternoon, my name is Marcella Horn, State Liaison. Goes down.
Good afternoon, I'm Jessica Steinberg. I work with SHISHUP and EMPG grants, and I'm also the EMPG program manager.
Big time.
Hi, I'm Daniel Crothers. I'm the Section Chief for Progressive Public Assistance Technical Services. Mainly work with the grants that come for recovery after a disaster.
Yeah, disaster grants.
Exactly.
Good afternoon, my name is Carlos Arredondo, and I am a program manager with Rustin Solutions.
All right. Who's gonna lead?
We have some people on Zoom as well. Hey, everybody on Zoom, do you want to unmute and say who you are and what department you're with?
Nathan Garrett is South, Section G. I work with disaster grants.
I'm Tashanti Pitts. I am group lead in public assistance, disaster grants management.
Garrett Romagosa, team lead in public assistance grants management.
Garrett.
Hi, my name is Ashley Gibbons, and I'm a Homeland Security Grant Specialist. I'll be managing EMPG for Assumption Parish.
Thank you, Ashley.
So, and my name is Tom Wong, I'm the OSEP Director for Assumption Parish. John Woodrow is recently retired and was hired by Police Jury, his replacement. So Jeff, I'm not sure, y'all want to introduce yourself to them so that they know at least who they're speaking with. That's all right with you?
Sure. I'm Jeff Nonke, Chairman of Emergency Preparedness Committee, and also Vice President.
I'm Melissa Rivera, I'm one of the accountants for the parish.
Patrick Johnson, Police Jury President.
I'm Irvin Como with Ward 3, Assumption Parish.
Leroy Blanchard, Ward 7.
So, and one of the reasons why I asked for this meeting is there's some, with John's leaving, there were some questions that had come up. Some dealing with applying for a loan to the grants program, expediting pay, if I'm using that right, and different things. And the police jury went to DC and met with a number of the congressmen. And I think they had some questions based on those conversations. So Leroy, I know you got.
I guess I'm not sure exactly what questions you're
Well,
referencing there.
Matching funds. How can we better handle those programs?
So right now we have the GOMESA funds that we bonded out our GOMESA money for future projects. So that money can be used to match other programs that we do find either with state or federal funding. And that's pretty much the only source that we have right now for matching grant funds. Now we did have before this last hurricane, we had an estimate to do some debris cleanup in the canals and so forth. And the estimate that we have was such that we basically did not have the funds to front the roughly $5 million to clean the canals that were identified. And we understood that it would likely be a 90% return to us to where we had the 10% match, but we couldn't possibly come up with the $5 million to basically execute the project and then cross our fingers that we get reimbursed through FEMA.
So a big question I got as a small parish like ourselves, where we have the opportunity for these 90-10 matching grants, and you got a big project such as $5, $6, $7, $8, $10 million, how can we get that money without upfronting the money? We don't have it upfront. And that money, there's great projects going down the road. We missed out on because we didn't have the funds to match. So I guess it's grants or what funding resource as a small parish, and we're not the only one, I know, that run on a very small budget and just don't have that kind of extra cash laying around. Like yeah, we had a great opportunity to clean up a bunch of drainage canals, but we had to pass, so we couldn't fund it. So anybody got an answer for that?
Not too specific to that situation or directly. I know in the past, there have been the community development block grants, the CDBG grants, where they will provide, like for public assistance grants, it's that 90-10 split that you're referring to. They would assist with the 10%. That's a different funding source, not something that's handled by GOSAP. It's done by the Office of Community Development. The grant comes from HUD, and they get similar after a disaster, they get a pot of money. And sometimes it's not an all-time thing. Sometimes they will use that funding to provide the cost share, the 10%. They did that after the 2016 floods. I think they're doing it after Laura and Ida. I'm not real sure, but
Laura for sure.
Laura for sure. I don't know, because I don't think the money's been appropriated yet for Ida, so they may not have stated that yet. So in those instances, there is a cost share. Like you said, that's not an all the time thing. For smaller events, since that pot of money is smaller, they may look to use it for other things. But as far as that goes, that would be one way to get it for the disaster grants, for help recovery, for cleaning out, the canals, which is kind of sounds like sounds important. I mean, I think that's probably a priority that you would like to do.
Right. Then you got a certain time frame. You get the money, half the money, so you can apply for the grant if you don't have the money for that.
Right.
So the question is, how much time is it before you apply to know either you're gonna get it? A grant is not guaranteed to all the T's and I's are dotted and crossed.
That's true. Now for the public assistance program, the part I work in after an event is if you can document that you're picking up what was put there by the storm. Now that can move a little quicker, but it's still at the cost share. It's with waterway debris is what we're calling it in the canals and stuff. It's kind of hard to tell what was put there by the storm and what wasn't. I mean, if it's a big tree that fell over, yeah, that's obvious. But everything else that came with that, was that something that got pulled, was that already there? That kinds of things. And FEMA's debris removal program, that's one of the key things that has to be on it. It has to be something that was put there by the event that's paying for it.
Right.
And so that's why they measure everything by what you pick up. Whereas there's some other funding at the Emergency Watershed Program under NRCS, which comes about after a disaster as well. Now it has a cost share too, obviously. They will allow it more to clean up a distance, go clean the 100 foot of the canal or whatever, however far your distance is. So there's a few different guidelines, even though it sounds like it's the same work, it is a little different, but their funding is limited it's a first come, first served basis after an event. So they've had to tell a lot of people, we don't have any more money, go to FEMA, and FEMA sometimes helps, sometimes doesn't. Because it's under the authority of another federal agency. So there are opportunities in there, but I don't think there's anything that has everything's gonna have a cost share.
Naturally, and we expect that because we're not to find some 100% money, a FEMA. My years, I don't remember having any 100%.
After Katrina was 100%, and I think FEMA realized after that, they're not gonna do that anymore.
Right.
Now they do put some time frames on some of your emergency response activities within a time frame after the disaster that they'll still go up to 100, but it's rare.
Right. So any grants, I mean, this meeting is about grant discussion and naturally from y'all office of emergency preparedness. So anything out there that we don't know that maybe we need to know? I mean,
So,
that's
that's
kind of
a
broad
question.
question, you follow me,
Uh,
but
I think one of the things that came up was the expedited pay. And I think I know that Melissa's section was interested in that. You know, if we traditionally, we would enter into a grant and we'd have to wait so long to get that money back. So anyone y'all can elaborate on expedited pay? Well, I might be using the wrong terminology.
So no, so you have the expedited PW, which is an option through FEMA to receive 50% of the funds based on a projection of how much the cost is gonna be. Okay, they can allow you to access that 50% of the entirety of the money of the funds, but then that goes to GOSIP as well, and then you can apply for the fast pay.
Fast pay.
So those
So
are those are two options that are available, one through FEMA and one through the state.
But the fast pay is we would turn the contractor on and he would invoice us, but for so much work, we provide that invoice to GOSEP, and correct me if I'm wrong, and then GOSEP would provide a check to the parish with a holdback. And once we provide proof we paid that vendor, then GOSEP will release the rest of those funds. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yes, that's, I'm gonna, it's called our express pay system.
Express pay
I'm gonna
system.
let one of the people on Zoom, I don't know if Garrett or Tashante want to talk about it.
Yes, so as far as express pay is concerned, I believe that's what you're referring to. Once the PW is obligated, you can provide the documentation such as contracts, cost reasonableness, invoices. There's a list of documentation that needs to be provided up front. It's not all of what we need for a detailed review, but it's a minimal amount of documentation that we do a cursory review of, and then we will release 80% of the value of the federal share of that particular RRF, and payments usually come out within 10 to 14 business days. So that is absolutely an option. It looks like you guys have taken advantage of in the past to receive expedited funding.
So, I mean, but we don't have to do the whole contract. We could, the whole grant, we can do piece parts of it and request reimbursement, right?
That's correct. You can do the reimbursements as you incur the cost. Let's say a contractor bills you every month for cost. You can send us that invoice once all of the contract and procurement is settled. You can send us that invoice that you get every month as a new RRF, and we can release 80%.
So any questions as it relates to express pay?
So is the other 20% released once the entire project is finished?
The other 20% is released upon detailed review of that specific RRF. So if you have 10 RRFs, you don't have to wait for the entire project to be completed. Once RRF number 1 is detailed review, then that 20% will be released, and then so on and so forth for the subsequent RRFs.
You go with that, Melissa?
do we have any outstanding money right now? We have any outstanding money being owed to us now?
Well, I think we're working the state home building with waterworks is the only thing that I have knowledge of right now.
I'm just talking about from the past disaster.
I do know that we have a appeal. Mickey, what event we on? Gustav. That was denied to us, but I spoke to Mr. Jan at the federal level, and he told me that on October 13th, he told me he was going to be getting with someone at the state level because our explanation was not sent with the documentation for him to review. So without that, he automatically denied us. But he said if he could review our explanation as to why we wanted that PW reopened, that there's a possibility that it could still be reopened. But I have not heard from anybody at the state level to let me know.
think we got enough people here can help us.
Yeah, well, I would have to look at it, but yeah, when I get back, I will track it down. So that was a freestyle. That was public assistance, that was for recovery. Okay, and then y'all appealed a gross set decision or appeal?
What happened was our Sal, correct me if I'm using the wrong terminology, but our Sal that we were working with, we kind of changed. They told us the rule was one thing, and then when we switched Sal's, the Sal told us, no, it was the way we originally did it. So we had to rework it. And we were working with our Sal, who I think the next one left also, but the PW kept moving along and we were unaware of it. And we would send an email to tell them that we didn't agree with the numbers, but they still closed it out. So then we had to do an appeal to have it reopened, and we went through all the paperwork with the state, who then sent it to the federal level, but they didn't send our explanation as to why we wanted that PW reopened. So all he had was our backup documentation, our timesheets and the PW itself. So it got denied because there was no logical reason to reopen it.
Yeah, when I get back in front of my computer and I can look all that up, I will track it down, find out where it is and get you an explanation.
All right, so
Nikki, how much money are we talking about on that one? Do you recall? $11,000 to $12,000.
11, 12. We can use it. We need it.
so HMPG grant, hazard mitigation.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody here from there. I can talk a little bit on it, enough to be dangerous probably.
Well, there again, let me speak a little bit and correct me if I'm wrong. So my understanding, and Ann, chime in, please. So Ann works out of my office. She's more like my assistant director than anything, and call her special assistant. So HMPG, we have a hazard mitigation plan. So in order to take advantage of that grant, it has to be spelled out in that plan, is what my understanding is. Am I right? Am I wrong? Or?
Yeah, and the way I look at it is the public assistance side I work on is a reimbursement program to help like your response and cleanup and everything like that. You do it and then you send it to FEMA and FEMA pays what they think is eligible. The hazard mitigation grant program is more, I guess, what everybody thinks of a traditional grant program. You propose an idea, everybody looks at it, figures that it's going to work, and then they give you money to go do it. So yeah, kind of like what you were saying, you have to, I don't know all the details of how they work and operate, but I know after an event, well, they have non-disaster parts of that as well, but basically they get pots of money at different times and you essentially say, hey, I would like to do this. And they can work with you on that to figure out how much they can come up with that out of their pot to do whatever mitigation you propose.
Right, and it's identified within that document. We can probably push forward. That's the documentation, the supporting documentation we need, I would imagine.
Yeah, whatever's in your plan, whatever you propose to do, they can work with you on that to make sure it meets everything that FEMA would need.
And just to refresh the police jury, that plan's due every 5 years. John had renewed it, got the state approval and got the FEMA approval on that. And all the flood stuff that we've been talking about at the police jury meeting, John included that in the plan. So that's something we need to look at in that aspect.
So can we get assistance from GOSEP in that application, or is that just a parish straight to FEMA?
No, everything goes through GOSEP, and they, like Marcella is your public assistance. Sal, our grant, HM grant program has a equal to her on that side who works with you on all that and gets that straightened out. Who it is, I don't know, but I can find that out as well.
It used to be Tiffany, Alpha, I think she's a contract.
Yeah, they have some contract help, but they were interviewing some people the other day to hire as well. So like I said, I'm not sure who it is, but I'll get in touch with their supervisor and who she's got assigned to it. And it may be her. I may put her in touch with you.
Okay. All right, so EMPG?
Yeah.
So mine, and there again, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. I don't have thin skin. So they've increased our EMPG grant money. Am I right? Am I wrong in the Starlink modem aspect of this?
They have, as far as they're allocating a certain amount that Assumption Parish has to use towards Starlink. And so that is going to increase, obviously, the whole award amount. However, and I'm not covering your parish as far as what you're using EMPG funds for. So I couldn't tell you, like my parishes, a lot of them use it for salary.
We do not use it for salary.
Okay.
This region doesn't use it for salary.
Okay, so given that fact, all right, so you can basically allocate whatever the rest is to whatever equipment or you want to get. However, and I'm not sure if you're aware of this, with Starlink, you do need to provide a sole source letter. And I think actually, okay.
I have the sole source letter that was provided through GOSEP to us. Well, it came from Ashley, whoever.
Yeah.
No problem.
And then if they're gonna be installed, you're also gonna have to do an EHP.
All right, so let me update the police jury.
Back up a little bit. Not
Yeah,
accurately.
yeah. So Starlink modems are used with the satellite system that Elon Musk has established, which are low-level satellites. And apparently after Ida, there again, chime in, GOSEP had purchased or bought, however, some Starlink modems and put them in some of the EOCs, since we lost all communications in Southeast Louisiana. I know LaFouche had one, and they were claiming it worked great. It was able to push voice, it was able to push data and such. So GOSEP has decided to apply for additional monies, which they had, and they reached out to all the parishes to see how many we needed or how many we would like to have. And so I gave them a number count. And of course, typical government, they cut us back, and that's understandable. So right now, it looks like we're going to have 4 Starlink modems, 3 of which will be mounted on buildings. And that's when I need to do the additional paperwork.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So 1 for this building, 1 for the sheriff department. And the third one, I believe, is going to be at the community center, if I remember right. No, the third one's going to be at the parish manager's building, the parish one. And the 4th one, we don't have to do any type of paperwork because it's a mobile unit, and that's going to be on the mobile EOC in the event of. So hopefully, if another Ida happens, we'll still have internet connectability.
So is that in place now? or-
No, it's not in place at this time. I think there's been a lot of discussion on how the purchase of each parish is going to have to purchase it, or is GOSEP going to do a big purchase? But we're working closely with Ashley, the regional coordinator, on how to do it. And once we get those answers, if we need to put a PR in, we'll push forward.
That's all a grant,
That's all the grant.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have no other pocket on that.
Good.
Well, actually, you get the first month of service on
The grant.
the grant. However, that's just to make sure it works. After that, the service is on the parish, but you don't have to keep it on.
So,
So when you turn it on for a disaster, you can claim Cat B.
right. So right now, my plan is to have get with Justin, we'll have them installed. We'll test them out for the first month. We'll turn them off after that, so we don't incur any expense for that. If there's a storm in the Gulf and it looks like we're in the line, then we'll have them turned on. And we might have to pay a small amount. However, if we get hit with it, then we ought to be able to claim it against the storm,
And able to communicate.
to be able to communicate.
No, after every disaster, we learn, we lose stuff, and we try to make better how to survive. And technology is pretty good these days, so you learn how to use it and
This is
take
This
advantage
is
of it.
Nathan with GOSEP. I was going, just a little caveat, if you do turn them on, free landfall, ensure that you use them and track that you use them.
Oh, yes, we will,
If
definitely.
you don't, even if you turn them on and nothing happens, FEMA won't pay for it.
Right.
But if you turn them on and you use them, there's a possibility FEMA could pay for it.
And that's working with our IT department, working with Justin to make sure we can make that happen. That should not be a problem.
So what's the status of them?
Well, I think we're trying to iron out the paperwork aspect of it.
Able to procure them now that you have that sole source letter.
Okay.
That's not true.
That's not true.
No, because the ones that are gonna be installed, you have to do the
Oh, yeah, you
EHP.
do have to do the HP first for the mount.
Right. And it's an environmental, what, hazard,
Environmental historic preservation.
historic preservation, right? So there's some paperwork that has to be done for the 3 buildings, and I'll start working on that.
Well, hopefully got a little ways for a disaster.
Yeah, hopefully, but it's nice to have it in place prior
Yeah,
to.
we need to have it in place.
So what are some other avenues for the EMPG funding besides the Starlink? You mentioned other parishes use it for salary.
They do. I'm not sure. Okay.
We
Dan can
use
talk
it
about the
for,
historical aspect.
utilities and the notification system. Because if you use salaries, there's so much training you have to do, right? And we use it to pick the electric bill, water bill, gas,
The mass notification system.
notification system, internet.
And does the parish receive a fixed amount or?
It's
does it
based on
go-
population, isn't it?
Yes, and you're allocated a certain amount based on that. Mhm.
Only after disaster.
No.
This is every year.
Every year.
Okay.
Now, just recently, it was increased because of the Starlink load. That doesn't necessarily say next year we'll get the same dollar amount because of that.
That's correct.
Now, the only other grant I'm aware of that doesn't, that goes up's not involved with, we get some CRI money, Communities Readiness Initiative money, and that comes through the state Department of Health. And those monies, we're not talking a big dollar amount here, but those monies are intended to be used to run a pod site. A point of distribution site where we hand out medications in the event of any type of disease that would break out. So in talking with Kayla Guerrera, she was saying we could purchase radios or we can purchase iPads or things of that nature that we would need to run a pod site with. Now I'm looking to purchase those such items this year. However, I want to purchase items that can be utilized during the workday by the current workforce. And in the event that we have something of a pod site or evacuation or a shelter, that we can utilize that hardware to run those sites. Because I know the state has gone to what they call the ETN, which is an app on an iPad that they use for the shelter. So you were making faces at me, Mr. Leroy.
It's just a lot of acronyms. It's a lot of information for us to, I guess we're not really sure what questions to ask to kind of
And
understand.
if we use an acronym, please ask.
So you mentioned that I guess you're the coordinator for EMPG and some other.
State Homeland Security Program.
Shush money.
So what is that money?
That is used for anti-terrorism and like CBRNE prevention and response. So a lot of times, like the police jury will purchase radios or they'll purchase protective gear. Basically anything that you, well, not anything because we have to review it, but items that you think would help in response or prevention to those. And so, basically right now with SCPDC, all the parishes allocate their, in this area, allocate their money to SCPDC. And then SCPDC divides, or they basically, y'all pick projects that you want to apply.
So the CRI money comes in annually to our office. And historically, this region, as she just said, South Central Planning does the procurement for us. And in the past, what it's been used for within the region is equipment that would be used for a hazardous material responder terrorist type issue. I'll have a list of stuff that we want to purchase and we got to bring it before the LEPC, the parish LEPC meeting, which is Monday next week of the various equipment. And the LEPC would approve it or disapprove it, but I mean, for gas meters, things of that nature.
Back in the day, we did vehicles.
Yes,
You can do vehicles,
we don't get that type of money though.
mm,
We don't get that amount of money to purchase a vehicle.
We used to buy two at one time.
you can actually. I don't know how, SCPDC is gonna allocate it, but I have had parishes use their funding to purchase a vehicle. However, you would have to, sort of like in the environmental, EHP, basically, you would have to do almost the same process of providing certain documentation for us to review, and then we send it to FEMA to see if it's okay, and then they give us a response back.
Right, and after 9/11, the region got a lot of money. I was reading some old documents, and that's how that Ford pickup was actually purchased with that money. And I can tell you that Terrebonne has the exact same Ford pickup, so it was across the region. Brian refers to it as a shower trailer. Actuality, it was bought as, it's not a shower trailer, it's a decontamination trailer. And that's how that was bought, through the Shisha money. One's at Assumption, and the other one's at St. John. And most probably, it's about ready to be transferred to St. James. So one's in the Bayou area, one's in the river area.
I think that's some age on them also.
They do have some age on them. But there again, a lot of this equipment was bought after 9/11. I can tell you the level A suits, the chemical hazmat level A suits, the fully encapsulated suits that were bought after 9/11 have a shelf life, and those old DuPont suits are expired. So within, I want to say 4 years ago, we replaced them within the region, and we went with a different company and manufactured in the United States. And this company didn't have a shelf life. Their disclaimer was, as long as it passed the annual level, the annual pressure test, the suit was still good. So that's why we went with that company and spent the Shisha money on that. And as Leroy knows, the SCBA bottles have an expiration date. So a couple of years ago, we ended up replacing the bottles, and that's what that money was spent on.
Gotcha. Working on that.
Yes, sir. In fact, I've got a laundry list, and I gave it to Miss Ashley, and I think I've overspent my budget by 6 cents.
Yeah, we're not gonna be a problem.
She got me covered.
All right. I mean, any other information we need to know?
Basically, I feel like Mr. Long is taking, he's examining your needs and, what he thinks would be best for that. If you had something that you thought y'all need, of course, talk to him and then.
Right. Now, I know that there's a lot of money funneling down through Washington. There's probably a lot of new grant opportunities. Are they not? I don't know. I'm asking.
So like with the Starlink, that's new. We never had that before. From my understanding, there's gonna be a cybersecurity grant coming out the beginning of next year.
And there's some information that's come out on that, but
Yes.
we haven't seen anything other than that there's something coming.
And also it's because GOSUP had to apply or is applying for that on behalf of, the state of Louisiana. So it's a process right now. Yeah.
But we'll get
Yes.
notified of any opportunity, any grants that come out.
Mhm.
And then, the federal Homeland Security, Philip what's Philip's last name? Constantine. He sits on the task force meeting, and he's over cybersecurity for this area. So we can tap Philip on the shoulder a little bit. He came out and said, we need any type of training, he can provide it, but as it pertains to that grant, I'm sure we can tap him on the shoulder, he can help let us know what's going on the federal side.
Any questions from the panel, from the jury?
Patrick, this is quiet as you ever been.
No, I'm just again, caught a little bit off guard. So the biggest question I would have, and I think chairperson just spoke to that, about additional grants and grant opportunities, and we don't miss out on any opportunities that may exist.
I'll say this, I mean, Ashley's our focal point to get to y'all, and y'all been really proactive at answering any of our questions, and we appreciate that. We really do appreciate that. And the two people that handled the grant are these two right here, to be honest with you, Miss Nikki and Miss Ann. So once it's been awarded, because I know y'all been on top of that. We were working, you have been working the one with the waterworks as far as the safe room goes. And the EMPG, yeah, absolutely.
And Nikki, any questions and concerns from this group while they're here? They have been on a few years, so y'all know what's happening. Anything else from anybody? We got another hour.
So, is someone gonna send us the HMPG sal that we have?
I'm gonna track that down as soon as I get back in front of a computer screen. And I'm also gonna look into that appeal from Gustav.
And somebody from ATM should be reaching out to y'all to set up a separate call. I was just on the text message in the section chief.
So, and that's Gary Nathan speaking, so. Nathan Gary, I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, just contact the South section chief. And she said they're gonna reach out to y'all to set up a separate call also.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
She's actually already reached out, so we can set them.
Perfect. Now, Miss Ashley could be taking, she'd be out of pocket next week. But like I said, she's been working real closely with us. So as soon as she gets back, we'll invite her if we have any additional questions.
Sure. Anything else, Simon?
I'm good. If y'all good,
We good, man. We good.
I'd like to meet with y'all for a couple of minutes with you, if you don't mind, and Leonard, and if, you know, y'all want to stay in and, you know, Nikki wants to stay, y'all welcome to. But I can't see holding up the rest of y'all.
One question I have about our hazard mitigation plan, I know we required to submit it every 5 years. Can we revise it next year?
We're required to submit it every 5 years, but we're also required to have a committee and go through it annually. So we can update it. And that was done by a contract that was Stevenson Disaster actually did it. And I've got some notes, so we need to put together a committee. I want to bring that up at the LEPC meeting Monday. So if you, I mean, if you don't have a copy, you want a copy, I'd be happy to forward it to you however you want, but you're welcome to go through it. Any suggestions you have, if you want to be on the committee, got no problems. You know, whatever y'all want to do, I'd be happy to do.
Well, I guess the concern I have is that our drainage and flood mitigation master plan that's included in it is the initial draft
Right.
from phase one.
We need to
So
update it.
we're about to have the final report and it has the full recommendations in it.
Right, and we didn't have, and John didn't have the final report at the time when it needed to be published. So yeah, that would be, we definitely need to update it and put the final report in. I agree.
I just want to make sure we get that in place because some of these HMPG projects, I think, are primed for addressing the issues that were identified in that. We just need to.
And I think that's what we want to actually use those monies for, to be honest. Timmy, you good?
Good. We're good. All right, so, you want to keep this meeting in place or?
I
you
just
want-
want to get y'all to stay back just for a few minutes and we can let Gosa disappear. If that's all right with y'all.
Thank you for coming on, yeah.
Yep. Well, thank y'all for making a little trip to the podium, Bill.
And we really appreciate y'all coming down.
Over the past 2 years, we've all been kind of hidden away
Well,
and trying to do a
COVID,
lot of things over the computer, but now we're venturing back out into the world.
and y'all welcome to come down anytime.
Yeah, have good will travels. Anytime y'all need anything, call us. We'll get somebody here to do whatever.
Good. You can sign in, chief. Who has to sign?
I don't know when it's.
Did he get out there?
And, okay, you got it. Just scan and send us a copy.
Yeah, not a problem. I'll take care. I'll send it out to all the jurors.
Yeah,
That way we know if we got a question.
yeah, especially for some of these people I don't know.
So there are some companies that actually manage disaster grants. And Carlos works with that, one of the companies that's local within Louisiana. I know there are a couple of out-of-state ones. And there is no fee involved with that for us. However, if we end up with a disaster grant, there are some management fees, and that's how they coop their monies off those management fees. And Carlos, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that is correct.
So
There are
I would
fees.
like to, I can't say enter a contract with this particular company. I would like to come up with a scope of work and put it out if the jury don't have a problem with that.
I just want to clarify that there are fees the company invoices, but the administrative cost is 100% reimbursable up to 5% of the entire amount for the disaster. That makes sense.
But we're not talking any out-of-pocket monies from the budget.
Correct.
Yeah, no.
None.
No,
No, I don't want to put
As long as
anything
the
out.
management is within that
no,
5%.
we managed for years without hiring sometimes. But and I said, that's okay. I wouldn't be opposed to hiring a company such as yours, you know.
And just so you know, I mean, you don't have to go with a third party either.
Right.
Because with the efforts that you perform in-house are also reimbursable as long as they are directly administrative costs. The benefit about hiring a third party contractor is obviously right at the beginning of a disaster, you might not have the manpower, the expertise or the, I guess, experience of handling and starting all the process all together. So that is the true benefit. You get to outsource those efforts and get reimbursed for those funds.
And what this company would also do for us is they would help manage those contractors. They would be beating up on these people to get the required paperwork that FEMA and GOSEP requires. So that would take a lot of the work off of Nikki and Ann. And they would be submitting that paperwork as needed and maintain those files, those audit files for us.
Was I think that's when we were in Fashery,
Mhm.
that was alluded to, and he's the guy that.
They, yeah, his coworker Kyle was there. But they do a number of parishes. They do St. James Parish also. Now,
Take the load off your shoulder, then miss up a disaster.
right,
That is
and
basically all the
Yeah.
rest. Also, it expedites the process of receiving the money, getting money obligated.
Right.
That's what we do for a living.
You walk
So,
your hands off that disaster.
Yeah.
You got-
the back
You
and
look at it
forth is
from-
minimized
Yeah.
with the state or with
Yeah.
FEMA with regards to.
With no cost out, no cost to the parish, you do it for administrative costs only. You know, I mean, it'll expedite payments and.
Everything, we
and
do
so
everything
forth, so
from the
on.
beginning.
So
I
we-
mean, I personally handle, Plaquemines
No worries.
Parish.
That's a no-brainer for us.
That's good to know. I mean, like I said, that is it's a great option because it.
Right.
obviously,
Right.
Funds.
Yeah,
in the
all
long
right.
run, so.
but this expedited pay program, y'all would actually, we'd tell you we want to do it and y'all would handle
We
that?
will actually present you with all the options.
Well, you
So
got
that
to
way
get,
can
you got more companies than is, naturally.
No, I can't say we're gonna go with just this company.
No.
We'd have to go out on bid.
Yes, that's what I was
And
gonna say.
they
You
go
have
to
to
war. You will
properly
give us the better deal.
Right.
You have to properly procure, you have to follow your procurement policy. And
Now, if the jury doesn't have a problem, once we award this to whatever company, I'd like to have Mr. Leday be that center, that focal point, working with that company that it's awarded to. So if they need something, they would tell Leonard what they would need and Leonard would reach out.
Sure.
Is that all right? Or, I mean, I don't have a problem.
You're at step one right now, so let's procure somebody. I'll get the ball rolling to give
Get
us
the
some
ball
options.
rolling, put the bid out.
Yeah, yeah.
So I start developing.
So you call it, what's exactly what it is administration of.
Of the hazard mitigation grants. They don't do that's what y'all
hazard
do.
mitigation as well, but what we are discussing right now, it will be disaster management.
Disaster management.
Correct. It'll be administrative assistance for disaster management, and it's a master's agreement, but that could include anything that you guys want to put in your RFP. Anything from, if you want to include hazard mitigation, you include as part of the scope of work. If you want to include project management, also goes in scope of work. All of those are smaller branches of what we provide. Like I said, the management cost is just to get you through the entire disaster and maximize the reimbursement. But we also have teams that perform the project management of the permanent work repairs. So that is another, we would assist with the procurement of these contractors, with the invoicing of the contractors, with the following up all the way to the completion of the work. To make sure that even everything that we do in the field fits within the parameters that FEMA and the state like to see, for cost reasonableness, for proper procurement, to make sure, once again, to make sure that we minimize the extension of the time for the reimbursement, as well as the chances of something being the obligator and not reimbursed.
Call BS real quick. So we're gonna provide the documentation to you.
Correct.
And if we get audited by GOSEP or FEMA, it would be auditing those records at your office.
Correct. We would assist what the, I mean, it's really not a call for me to say, where would they wanna, get the documentation from? But yes, everything will come basically through us. We can be the representative to the police jury. And from FEMA and from the state, and when it comes to auditing, of course, we have to answer for everything. But basically, we are a conduit in between, you guys and the entities that are providing.
Y'all didn't exist, right?
I don't believe so, no. It's one of the things that came up as they realized that certain government entities don't have the personnel or the funds to perform these efforts themselves. So they missed out in public assistance and other grants that were out there because they either didn't know, they couldn't follow the process, or they just didn't have the funds.
That's why FEMA came in and said, hey, we're paying for those
They created
services.
a bucket of funds basically
Right.
to allow you to supplement your efforts. during
So
the
in
disaster.
actuality, let's talk about the canal cleaning. We turned that money back because we couldn't come up with matching funds. But it would be behoove this company, whoever that company is, to work closely with us because they want their management fees on how they can work with us so we can work those grants. But ultimately, the jury got this determination.
Your share costs, there are ways to match that.
Right.
And
That's
yes.
right. I agree.
So that is basically what, it's not just the pushing of the paperwork, it's to bring in the knowledge to say, these are all of our options or different avenues so that you can make the most appropriate decision for you in your position.
And the jury's always got the ultimate say whether or not we want to turn this on or turn this off.
So you're not limited to post-disaster. You can work on mitigation projects.
We can work on mitigation projects. It's a different, it'll be a different task order because it gets paid differently. Remember, everything that is post-disaster is what is 40% reimbursable under the 5%. There might be some funds to pay for our administrative costs for mitigation. Let me rephrase that. There are some funds to reimburse for that, but they gotta be separate task orders and the amounts work in a different way. So that's something to keep in mind. But
So what parishes in Louisiana, you talked about, I know we talked about St. James, you said something about St.
James, Plaquemines Parish, we also work with St. Charles, we work with this way, because I mean, we go all the way to Natchitoches. So we're very well-rounded with the state of Louisiana. This is our home base, but currently we are also working with South Florida.
And I know that Kyle worked in the OSAP at East Baton Rouge.
Correct. So most of us come at one point or another from state or some sort of federal agency that work in this industry. Correct. So it's a true consulting firm, gather the people that are knowledgeable in the area. Like I said before, we also have our technical team, which is a team full of people that have a background in either construction, engineering, or project management. And that is to, we perform everything from the initial assessments of the damages all the way to the full recovery and reconstruction of the facilities.
And there again, I'm not saying we're gonna do business with this particular company. I'm just asking if we can develop a scope of work, go out on bid to a number of different companies, and then come before the jury with which way we would like to proceed.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are many other contracts in the area. I mean, it's just you just want to make sure that you get those.
And
It's gotta be
in the company, y'all
Yeah,
specialty.
correct. If that is what you
We
need,
made
then
that
you go for
something.
that. If you
unique,
need
stuff
something
that
smaller, that also works.
And I think that might answer a lot of the questions, that it's who of them Because that's how they get paid, to help look out for grants to help us.
Sure.
I think that's a great idea.
So
Mr.
in I guess the scope of your work, what percentage of your administration fees are covered through these grant programs, and what percentage would be covered from the agencies that you're working for?
Like I said, everything's gonna depend on the program that you're working on. My expertise personally are on the PA side, the public assistance, which is post-disaster. And that is 100% covered up to 5% of the entire cost of the disaster. So it's basically, FEMA doesn't care how much we are billing, how much you're paying now. They're just gonna say, okay, you have up to 5% of $1 million because that's your entire disaster. 5% will be obligated as long as we present the proper documentation that we were properly procured, that our invoicing is in line, and it shows the direct cost to all of your projects. So they will obligate up to 5%.
And again, I'm looking to work the scope of work where the monies that these companies have paid will come out of those management fees within the grant and not impact our budget.
Correct. So, and it works the same way with, we are currently working with the city of Slidell with the elevation program. So there is a bucket of money for the city of Slidell to hire a contractor to perform public outreach, to perform the introduction of the packages. And all that money comes from the city of Slidell, but that also was provided within the project monies.
So you say most of the money will come after the event.
Everything's gonna come after the event except for something like, I believe Ms. Jessica was talking about. That is an annual thing. You know, for HMGP, right now, we're probably looking, maybe by next year, we'll get the numbers from IDA of what is gonna be allocated to each, you know, police jury, city, whoever has the, whoever's gonna perform the claim, they're going to come up with the money. This is gonna be based on the damages from that disaster.
And the scope of work, once I draft it up, I'll pass it through the parish attorney to make sure I hadn't done anything wording to put assumption at any type of risk.
Right, sure.
Mr. Tommy, does that include like writing up the PWs and all of that that Nikki currently does?
PWs for FEMA? Yes, ma'am.
So if
I'm glad you're here, Melissa.
So if we turn over our full 5% of administration to y'all, like what covers the parish expenses? Because that's currently what we use for the parish side of it.
So you can either just give us all the responsibility, or you can include some of that, and then if that's something that needs to be looked after when we are working with the budget. Let's say that we have, the way that we like to proceed is to be very cautious with the budget. We try to be as intelligent at what we are budgeting. You know, the whole idea is to keep it within that 5%. Okay, so if you have a disaster that per se is $250,000 worth of our removal of the room, it might not be something that you want to hire a third party, because you can probably perform that at home, and a third party is going to cost you over that 5%.
See, and we don't need to turn that part of the contract on if we decide to do it in-house.
Correct. And just because you have a third party on the contract doesn't mean that you have to activate it. So if you have the personnel to manage your own disaster, you can just keep it the way that it is. You know, we can be sitting in the back of whatever the contract would be. But to answer your question without going around too much, is those funds could either be included or they're gonna be eaten by the police jury for your personnel, because they are already budgeted. If they perform any aspects outside of their budgeted hours, then you can get reimbursement for that through CAD B, for example, or CAD A, you know, or whichever the situation might be, but it won't go towards your CAD Z, which is your administrative cost. Your administrative cost is only the project 5% of the cost.
So putting the PW together, we submit a CAT Z PW for it. All of our work that is submitting all the PWs, whether they're A, B, or whatever, putting that paperwork together, we charge to a CAT Z project.
Correct. Now, once again, if you performing those efforts within the police jury personnel, and
Yes.
those hours are budgeted already, there's not gonna be extra money for that. They're saying they're doing the job.
Right.
If it's a third party like us, that is an unbudgeted cost, they will cover that cost. If your personnel is working extra hours, if they're supposed to be working 40 hours, for example, and they go above that, you can charge that time towards your administrative cost. But if you already have somebody already hired to perform those efforts, they're gonna see it as that is a budgeted person, that is a job, that's what they hire them for. Unless they're performing activities outside of the normal responsibilities what they were hired for, then yes, once again, that will be a reimbursement.
But it's still limited to 5%, so.
Correct. The 5% is mostly for you, it's not mostly, it is for you to supplement your efforts.
So where does your cost come in? I don't know, the Cat Z?
Correct. We are a 100% unbudgeted cost.
But
And
there,
triggered directly by a disaster.
but there again, if we do enter a contract with a company such as that, whether or not we turn it on for a disaster, or not, it's something we need to talk about.
And what would happen usually is that we will have a contact down here, and what we will do is, like I said, we'll take everything from beginning to end. We will be the ones talking to female, we will be the ones writing the videos. All we're probably gonna need is have a point of contact to say, hey, we need your payroll sheets. Somebody that can gather that, provide it to us, then we'll go ahead and create the summaries. We create the full package that is gonna be turned into a video. We'll
And then
communicate
what
with
that
those.
does, that alleviates us when they come in and do an audit, because realistically, if they've got all the documentation, they have to audit them.
I know, but our time sheets are not that simple. That's why Nikki's tasked with that project, because she has to pull the men's work logs and look at those details to determine what needs to be put on the project worksheet for the men's time.
I see what
And
you're
then it
saying.
goes through me as a second review to make sure that we claim in only what we're supposed to be claiming. So typically, we're billing our 5% between me and Nikki and Marie.
Do you guys do some sort of special code in your payroll?
We do set up a code, but all of our employees' time is based on strictly what they're doing. So come at an event, our employees might not necessarily be working 100% of the event. Our employees work all over the place. So then we have to we look at their work log and
We
say,
have to go
you
to
did
the
this, and it gets code here. Yes.
Once again, it's really based on your needs. If that was the case, when we have to come in and give us the raw paperwork and we have to analyze it, yes, we can do that as well. We just need the guidance of, how do we recognize what? Once again, the problem, not the problem, the only hurdle that I would say, and this is just strictly looking after the parish finances or finances, it's the fact that it's a small disaster. It's not something that you can do very much. Because we are gonna go above that 5%. And then out of pocket. Things to think about, once again, because you get a consulting firm to assist you with these things, that's saying you don't owe them any money until you activate. So it's a pre-position contract, should you need it in case of that.
So we just need to talk, that's all. And we're not gonna say we're gonna turn them on.
Well,
It's an option.
it's an option. We did it without them. The question is, what would be the benefit?
Right.
With.
And then again, if we go out for bids, that doesn't mean we need to award it. We're polling.
Right.
So, any
All right.
other questions?
Good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Very nice meeting you.
Appreciate it. Any other discussion, Tom? Anything you want to talk about?
Not really. I think you know exactly how I stand as far as the grants that my office manages. I mean, like I said, the only thing that I know that Ann is working on is the safe building, dealing with the waterworks. And we haven't got the next round as far as the blessing to start construction yet. We're waiting on GOSUP to come back with that, so we can push forward with it. We got EMPG money, we got HMPG money, and that deals with the hazard mitigation. We get SHISHA money, it was meant to buy equipment, and then CRI money. And GOSUP doesn't manage the CRI money. Just a quick recap. LDH does. So that's equipment we can physically buy to run a pod site. But if I'm gonna buy equipment to run a pod site, I just assume buy the equipment needed to help support our day in, day out operation. And be able to pull that back if we need to run a pod site.
Mr. Tommy, have we gotten an answer on the global match for the HMGP grant?
Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of.
So initially, the Waterworks Safe Room was approved as an 80-20% match. However, the state informed me when I called them to ask them a question about the reimbursement that Ann submitted, that there was a possibility of 100% being funded by the state, but there was some paperwork that needed to be done by John's office that they weren't aware of. So after the fact, they did all this paperwork, and now we're waiting on the
We're
final
waiting to
answer
hear
to
back from
determine
GOSAP.
whether they're gonna fund it 100% or not.
Right.
Yeah, I'd be pretty, can be good with it.
So that's where we're at with that. And then the new thing that I don't think y'all were aware of was the Starlink modems. And realistically, that's being purchased. I just got to take care of some paperwork on the modems that are going to be on buildings, and I'm going to start working on that. So what questions might y'all have of me? I appreciate y'all coming in early today to discuss this.
Yes, sir.
And then the LEPC minutes, I'll make sure y'all get a copy of that, because we're gonna talk about the Shisha equipment we're gonna purchase. We're gonna be talking about a little bit about the Starlink modems, I'm sure, and then, what else was it? There was something I can't remember right off the bat right now. I made some notes.
We, how about radios for jurors?
Wait, one sec, what's that?
Tiger Dam?
The Tiger Dams we need to talk about. Radios for jurors. I'm not sure who has radios and who doesn't have radios. I know that Ron hit me up for a charger a couple of months ago. But I asked him what type of radio he had, and he never got back with me.
Yeah, for years I never had, but last year I did get a radio.
I would imagine the jurors all have the old Motorola XTS radios.
I doubt that seriously.
No, they picked all those up.
They don't leave them with the jurors. They have them during the event of an emergency, and then they get back put in John's office, well, in Tommy's office on the charges.
Well, the only radios that I have in there are the old EF Johnson radios.
That's the ones that we used to give out, because I remember having to go inventory it.
And I actually, EF Johnson radios have caused a lot of problems.
They're dinosaurs.
They're dinosaurs. And the Motorola's 2500, XTS 2500 radios are obsolete also. I want to get away from the Motorola radios because they're great radio, but they're extremely expensive. There's I can't think of the brand name radio, but I'm looking to purchase those. So put off that CRI money. So I can purchase 8 of those and issue them to the jurors if you want, or I can leave them in my office and maintain them for the jurors, and even if emergency, then issue them to y'all. Whatever y'all want to do, I'll be.
That's probably good.
And that way I can make sure the batteries are charged, and I can, when I issue the radio, I'll issue the charger with it. I think it's kind of chaotic to give you a radio without a charger.
You know what pot of money, and Melissa, you may know this also, so it's been a while, but starting probably 12 to 15 years ago, John would give each fire department 2 or 3 radios a year.
I would think that that's coming out of the Shisha money.
Shisha.
Unfortunately, Motorola is extremely expensive. The Apex radio, so what's currently replacing the XTS radios, they start at right about, or right over $3,000 a piece. The radio that John had bought, that I inherited, and there again, it's in a vehicle. I'll bring it in a few minutes and y'all can play with it. It's a name brand radio, and it's about a quarter of the cost. The only difference is we program the Motorola radios. We can't program that. When we buy it, we have to buy a program, which is not a big deal to me, to be honest with you. We get good support on that. But if I can save money, I can buy more radios.
So if you buy a program already, does that mean it is totally inclusive?
It's inclusive in the price.
Not saying, not just in the price, to have, I guess, all the amenities, when you say it's already programmed. The Motorola, there's a lot of different additional functions you continue to have.
But there's a template.
There's a template. There is a
So that
template.
template is the same on all the radios.
Right. And I can tell you the fire departments right now are picking up some old XTS radios from Dow, because Dow was upgraded to the Apex radios. And we've been programming those radios for the different fire departments and such. And we don't have a problem doing that. And I got LaPouche supporting me on that aspect too. because we have to go back to the state and get a different radio number since Dow no longer owns it, Assumption does. So there's some finite things that really y'all don't need to be aware of, but we'll make it work. Tiger dams, I've got a presentation. I'd like to get the police jury on tiger dams. If you give me a second, I'll go run upstairs and get it if you don't have a problem with that, if you want to speak to that.
We can't go anywhere. We can't start the next committee till 4:25.
Yeah.
Give me a second, I'll be right back, and I'll grab the radio too, to let y'all look at it. Mr. Irving, got any questions? Are you good, sir?
We'll close the meeting. Let's just close this meeting, but he can come back. We're not taking any action.
No, it's just, just information.
Motion adjourned by Mr. Blanchard, second by Mr. Como, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
All right, just silence your phones, please. All right.
Sir.
It's 4:25, and I'll start the federal program committee meeting. Let the record reflect that all members are present, except for Mr. Alcone. First, we've got authorized the president to sign the fiscal year 23 SCBG contract.
So
Moved by Mr. Carter. Thank you. Moved by Mr. Carter. All in favor? Aye. Carries. Next, we've got federal program support fiscal year 2021, 2022. Ms. Bernard.
Federal programs summary. From October 1st, 2021 to September 30th. So, everyone should receive a handout. And for your handout, detail the service category, what these clients and service in the first, second, third, and fourth quarter, the total, and how much we spent. Service category is G, our tuition program, the total clients and service for, and expended $1,734.91. CSG cares, that was that supplemental funding you received. Of course, you always COVID funding. We received $89,930. We, with this funding, we were able to service low income families and individuals with back to school computers, to purchase supplies from Walmart, store, and supplies, and of course, if they were eligible for larger projects, we issued that out as well. The total number of clients service was 100 and expended $81,930.58. EF&S funding, we have EF&S funding, regular funding. We service clients with food, rent, and utilities. And if you look at under food, we service 29 clients, expended $4,964. For rent, we service 2 clients, total $3,000. The utility, we service 11 clients, expended $3,380. EF&S food, rent, and utility. This was the supplemental funding that we received. And for food, we were able to service clients with food vouchers, low income individuals and clients, if they were eligible. 42 clients, total $7,907.02. Rent assisted with the rent, 6 clients, $9,023. And utilities, we service 28 clients, $15,025.98. Lucky, again, with the additional funding, ARP, we service 264 clients, total of $186,310.49. Heating and cooling allocations, this is our regular heating and cooling that we receive. We service 346 clients, expended $204,154.25. Our crisis allocation, we service 56 clients, expended $25,418.76. Lawette, of course, during the COVID time, during that period, we received funding for, we'll talk about that, that was to assist low income families and individuals with the water bills. We service 170 clients and expended $50,239.59. And we also received the HPG grant where we were able to service 11 clients. Expended $94,462.88. So we've been very busy in the federal programs department, but we did manage to spend what we had to spend when we had to spend. So as of right now, we have crisis funding that we're assisting clients and tuition. We're waiting on the LAHEAP funding, which we may get between 4 weeks, and some funding for.
What was that HPG?
That was the housing preservation grant that we applied for. And COVID came in, so we had to put it on were, they released it, we were able to go in and assist clients, low income individuals and families with housing repair.
11 clients and 94,000, it just looked like it was quite a bit, for 11 clients.
$8,587 a house.
Right.
Yes.
Also on the rent, the $9,023 was there, helped out 6 people here. That's $1,500. That was the 1 month.
Fourth
From
quarter.
July to September, that was 3 months, 87.
How much money you got? This right
Tuition, and we usually get 2,500 for this, but we still have some funding right now. 35, I'm sorry,
We have about 2,500 left.
left.
But if we don't spend it by mid-December, it will be moved to salaries. And then in January, we get new money.
Yeah.
We have to close the grant out by the end of December.
So we do have funding to assess fines with going to school, but we don't have funds.
I'm just looking at this number, it's 6 clients and 9,000, that's $1,500.
It's up to
But
3 months.
6
Jamie.
behind, each one get 3 months of rent.
Up to
500.
3 months.
And Jamie, that was the additional supplemental funding.
It's a good program for low income people to qualify.
Yes.
How many clients we got here?
I really don't. But if they're eligible, we have to serve. Clients came in for water, they came in for water, they were able to get the electricity paid as well. And also, if they were eligible to receive rental assistance, we had to serve them with rentals. So when they look at our clients, we have to come to the office and receive the water, electricity, and the utility. But that's what the purpose of the program is. If they're in need, we have to serve. And of course, this is a limited staff that we have to push for. We have to. Of course, you all know it's just 3 of us and along with this is the company. But this is what I'm trying to do. Yes. Is it all?
Good job in expending all those funds. Any other questions? A motion adjourned? Motion by Mr. Como. Second by Mr. Carter, all in favor? Any nays? Carries. Couple minutes for the next. Let the record reflect that all members are present. First item is request approval, of pay bill submitted to the government report 2022 that was provided to you. The vote. By Mr. Nakane. Second by Mr. Diaz, all in favor? Aye. Nays, motion carries. Next, request approval of quarterly report by the Chamber of Commerce and authorize allocation.
Good evening. We are the Chamber of Commerce. I'm Tanya Pierre. This is Cassie and this is Jennifer. Our quarterly report, we're gonna keep it brief for you guys today. We continue to spotlight a different chamber business every month. In August, it was Our Lady of the Lake Assumption Community Hospital. September was Lula Westfield. October was the First Bank, and November is Arthur Gallagher Insurance. We have, since the July presentation, we have 3 new chamber members: Positive Transformations Health Services in Thibodeau, Seminole Home Movers in Pierre Part, and Bayou-Side Golf Course in Napoleonville. We've started the planning process of our annual banquet and decided to keep it in the spring. We are shooting for a date of Thursday, October 20th. I'm sorry, Thursday, April 20th. But we have to await confirmation. We're asking our guest speaker, Billy Nungesser. They don't typically put out the schedules until the end of December. So once we've confirmed that he will be speaking on that date, we'll put out a save the date so businesses can be aware of the upcoming banquet in April. With that being said, last year the seating was extremely tight and people were kind of crowded together. So we'd like to ask you guys for some sort of assistance or discount on the community center in April, so we can expand it to the full capacity versus a half. You don't have to answer us today, but we'd like to request that from you guys for the April banquet. It was a great turnout last year. We were full to capacity. This year we're expecting more because we're trying to do something different with the Teenager of the Year Award. Over the past years, we have not had a very diverse group of teenagers, and that's something we need to fix. In the past, we've gone to the schools and talked to the guidance counselors to get the information out there. Last year, we didn't have a good group, so we're gonna work with the superintendent to find a better way to get more students involved and apply for the award. We'll give you more information as that comes, but we're trying to get, we don't have enough. We have more teens in Assumption Parish that qualify for it, that they're not applying and we don't know why.
What do you mean by whenever you say you didn't have a good?
We don't have a very diverse group. Diverse. We need more diversity in our group, and we haven't been getting that. And we're not sure why we have a limited amount of students that apply for the award. So we want to work with the superintendent to figure out what we can do to get it. We put it on Facebook. We get with the guidance counselors, but it's not working. So we need to fix it. We received an email regarding the police jury's Christmas celebration sponsorship. It only asked for a door prize. If y'all could give us more information or tell us how we can assist you in any way of what that, we're not sure what you're planning, but if we can help in any way, we'd like to be involved with it. Of course, we're gonna give a door prize, but if there's anything else that we can do, we'd like to know.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, and that is it. Anything else?
Y'all did
That's
it
it.
all?
Thank y'all for y'all support as usual.
Y'all did a good job with the banquet on last year. Excellent.
It was a very good turnout last year. We'll keep y'all posted on the Billy Nungesser when he confirms.
Very good.
Motion that we authorize the annual allowance.
Okay, motion by Mr. Carter. Second by Mr. Diaz, all in favor? Any nays? Motion carries. Next, request approval to transfer an additional $4,800 for a total of $61,000 from the road fund to the repaving of Lee Drive project to cover overage as reflected on the current project budget.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Nakane,
Second.
Second by Mr. Ponville.
Sorry, I'm not even on there.
I'll second it.
Okay, second by Mr. Como. All in favor?
All right.
Any nays? Motion carries. Discuss and consider funding for a parish-wide biddy basketball program. Mr. Alcone could not be here, but before each of you, he's got an outline of what the business plan shows here as it pertains to the costs associated. Last sheet makes reference to allocation that obviously must have spoken to each juror and got a commitment from them. Know how important it is for the kids to have something meaningful to do. Perhaps keep them out of trouble. I do know also that a lot of adults participate in coaching, officiating, and coaching these kids, and I'm fully on board for not having it, well, for the reason that I do know that we don't have much in organized sports in my area, so I'm most definitely in favor of allocating. Looking at these numbers, I will petition you guys and see who could be willing to put a little more. We'll have to subtract from my allocation. I'd be happy to see that.
The only thing I have with this, and I'm all for these recreation programs, is why we don't have an association that can take care of that money instead of the parish having to do it. I just don't think the parish should be getting involved in handling money for different sporting organizations. It just, you know, they could have an association. That's how we have it. We have an association. They collect membership fees, dues. They have fundraisers. They have raffles, different things to raise money to do this. And you know, they got their own checking account that they take care
That's
of.
an excellent point, Mr. Irvin. I don't think he's gotten there yet. I think it's just the inception of this is trying to get started, but I like your idea.
If I could, Mr. President. So,
It's not starting off too good. Oh, if you could, I thought you were saying if you could
Yeah,
donate.
so
I'm
if
sorry,
I
I yield
could,
to you.
yeah.
I yield to you.
so December 12, 1991, we had some volunteers in Pierport start a program called the Community Basketball Association. Since then, this association has taken care of everything on their own without any parish funding. Everything, what it takes is volunteers and dedicated members of the community to do something like this. This past year, they had 150 kids sign up from throughout the parish, not only from the Pierport area, but from other parts of the parish that joined us in this association at $30 a kid. For over 30 years, this program has been working. And I feel, same as Mr. Irvin, the parish has no part in this, shouldn't have any part in this. This should be a community association or program that Ron is reaching out for that involves volunteers in his community. That's the only way it's gonna work.
And I do think he is getting volunteers. I do think he's trying to get it started. I do think he's trying to take advantage of the time frame to not delay it and get it going. And I think he would be inspired to do just that, have a volunteer group and like you said, Mr. Irvin, especially a group to actually
Take care of that.
yeah, be at the forefront of this. But at this point,
Because when would this end? Gonna be a football going to come up in and a
It wouldn't end.
baseball and it's not going to
It
end.
wouldn't
It's
end.
gonna keep going on
And
and on.
according to the numbers that we've shown in the email, I mean, with the budget, I mean, I don't see where it's gonna work out. I don't think this is a very good idea. I think it's a great idea to get the kids involved, but as far as the parish being involved in it, I don't think it's a good idea.
again, I think Mr. Alcorn isn't here to comment upon that, but I do think in order to get it started, I think he would be inspired to learn from what others have done, in particular, what you're referring to as well as what Mr. Como has. At this point, it's on the agenda. I am in favor of, again, looking at the numbers. I heard you very well from Ward 8, Mr. Ponville. Mr. Irvin, I think you on the other day may have elected to opt out, correct?
Yes, well, I don't know where my recreation funds are going. I'm working on that boat launch deal. 2 boat launches. I got Corps of Engineers permit and all that's coming out of my recreation.
So you're not sure where you are?
I don't know where my money will be.
All right. Mr. Carter, you good with where you are? Or are you-
That's the max out on it.
Okay. We're trying to see if I'm squeezing anything further here. Where we at? Ward 5, Thea, you good? All right. All right. Nothing to say.
Roger, I'm gonna do a one-time donation, to help to get us started.
Mhm.
That's all, one time.
Okay. Very good.
All right, so I'll make the motion for trial run for this 1 year.
1 year, it's a 1 year trial.
So, like what Mr. Irvin said, who's gonna manage the money? Is the parish gonna manage it, or they gonna have to get their own organization to manage?
Again, at this point, and for the inception of this, as it's been outlaid by Mr. Alcorn here, to get it started in lieu of time restraint or constraint. Right now, it would be the parish. He would be inspired to get others involved.
The money's coming back to,
No, he's not. He's not.
the money is
just-
coming back to the parish on concession stands.
That is correct.
Whatever makes a concession stand on the door is coming back to the parish.
That is correct.
So,
I think Ron's idea here was because the parish was gonna be putting up money from the recreation funds, that the parish should take care of that. I think that was his idea of doing it that way.
But I think he'd be most willing to learn from y'all's experiences.
Yeah,
and
I think he
and
would too.
Grow this program and grow it. So, I'm confident that
But there's another
There may
question
not be
comes up,
any need
if
from us,
somebody in the concession stand or everybody handling the money gotta be bonded. Gotta be bonded in the parish. Is that right, Melissa?
It's anybody who's handling parish money, so if the money is funneling through the parish, all those people that are working and touching money, handling money, all have to be bonded.
Well, I say you can already see the problem it starts to create for the parish. Well, we don't need any problem like that. But I think forming an organization, because the people that's gonna have kids playing basketball, they're gonna want to be involved. So you're gonna be able to get enough to have a board together to take care of all of this.
So that's a good point as
It's
well.
worked for us for probably the last 50 years.
So bonding is a good point. You made another one for, as you said, Mr. Irvin, a special, be a special interest group or perhaps just an outside.
There would be,
Is this gonna be parish
an
employees?
organization, the Biddy Basketball Organization, Association. And then those people that's running that, the money comes to that association, they put it in the bank. They bond whoever they want to get bonded for the money. And then they take care of getting the uniforms, different things. They have
Right.
fundraisers and.
Mr. Johnson, could we table this till Ron's here
I
next
I
meeting?
don't think we need to. I think we can work on all the above. Here, we've got the allocation from those that is willing to do so. And I think we can move forward. What you're referring to will not be done overnight. It will not be done tomorrow.
What y'all referring to
No,
will not be
that's
done
gonna take a
overnight
while,
either.
that.
Sir, I mean,
What
you
y'all
know,
referring to will not be done overnight either.
yeah, so.
Did he iron out the
Again,
insurance?
the sports,
Did
they're trying to get the sport started rather
Is he
soon.
on out the insurance?
And the insurance is Mr. Calabro has been involved with that. He's done the necessary communication with Gallagher and have got that lined up as well. Mike is fully aware of that. I see no need to delay it. I tell you, those particulars can be addressed by Mr. Alcorn. And each of us can have some. input
Well,
on
he
that.
can get the program going and
That's
then he
correct.
can start doing, if he can get an association form, then you got time to do that, but they don't have time to get the basketball started. Basketball season's here,
That's correct.
and that's where he needs to get started now.
That is correct. So let's get a motion.
I make a motion that we approve it only on the basis that it's not ran by the parish. You have to get his own organization to run it. And this is a one-time funding.
Give him the opportunity to have an outside
and the
source.
funds need to come back to the
Give him an
parish.
opportunity, Mr. Gordon.
The parish is not
involved in the funding. Once we fund this at one time, they run it, they collect their own money. None of these employees would be parish employees. We don't need insurance on them, we don't need none of that. Only thing we do one time is doing a one-time donation.
No, it's just to get it started. Because every kid needs to play and it's a great thing, but that's, I can only do it one
Yeah,
time.
the reason I'm saying that, guys, sports, as Mr. Irvin just said, needs to take place now. It needs to get started. He can, I just told you, he would be inspired to grow this program from the likes of the programs that Mr. Irvin is affiliated
What's your
with,
motion?
and yourself.
My motion that we fund the allocation
For this year.
for this year.
For this year, yeah.
But the parish will not be involved in handling the money, running the show. This is not a parish event. You have to get all people to organize it, collect money and work it. None of those employees would be parish employees. So if he- the money can be allocated, it's there. It's on him to get the organization established and have the people there to run it.
I'll second his motion.
All right. Motion by Mr. Carter. Second by Mr. Como, all in favor? Any nays? Motion carried. All right, where are we? Number 5, authorize the president to sign the proposal for professional services for the Bayou Lewis boat launch.
Yeah, Kim's got all that information and the little contract like. That's for that COVID is.
Okay.
Make a motion, we go ahead and
Okay.
authorize the president to sign it.
Motion by Mr. Como,
Second.
second by Mr. Diaz, all in favor? Any nays? Motion carries. Next, discuss courthouse repairs. Blankenship.
Okay, so I would like to put 6 and 7 together. As I was receiving bids, they weren't apples to apples. So I spoke to Mr. Calabro, and to get better transparency, I would like to reach out to some architectural or civil designs to help out with this because of the age of our courthouse. There may be some underlying issues. I would like to seek some engineering help and design for this project to make sure we don't get run into something that we are not aware of.
Who had wrote up the scope of work?
I walked the building with multiple contractors.
At the same time or different times?
No, at different events. So they came at different pricing, they were far off from each other. And I said, to really, really itemize that, we need to actually have a better scope of work.
In the future, I don't think it's good to take contractors on separate walks. I prefer to do the walk all in one with every contractor. That way, every contractor hears the scope of work, the same scope of work, and they bid on the same project.
And that's why we're asking for it to be tabled on top of, we need to tighten the scope. Because again, at this point, we're going apples and oranges versus apples and apples. And we will have an issue if and when this project begins, or one of the project begins, and we don't get exactly what we're paying for. There's not much defense there moving forward. So I think rather than put Mr. Blankenship in that position, we table it for tonight. We go back to the drawing board, hopefully get some more design involved in this, and then move forward in a better manner.
I'm motion that we table number 6 and number 7.
Second. Motion by Mr. Carter, second by Mr. Diaz, all in favor? Any nays? Motion carries. Okay. Next, discuss DMV awning project.
So I have provided you guys with the estimated cost of the DMV as per the drawing that Mr. Savoy provided to me. I sent it out to 4 different vendors within the same day. I want to receive 1 response with a deadline date on it. I did attach the emails in regards to the vendors that I sent it to. I'd like to move forward with this project.
So this first one is your lowest bid?
Yes,
16.
the only bid that came in. That is the only bid that came in, and there were 3 emails attached that I sent to other contractors with no response.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Second. Motion by Mr. Nakane, second by Mr. Bernard, all in favor? Any nays?
Comment on the DMV building. I went earlier to take care of a little business, get a registration renewed. That place is filthy.
Meaning it's not being cleaned?
It just, it needs a,
And,
it needs a service company to come in there, and clean the company, just clean. Buff the floors, strip the floors. I mean, it's bad. I don't know, I think we did the courthouse a year ago, 2 years ago. Anyway, just, we have to work on it. No action, just, the place needs some love. A little pain, but it needs, it's bad. I know got a lot of traffic going in and out of there, but their floor is disgusting. It really is.
Okay.
We could do better than that. So anyway, we gotta do something.
It's been sealed off, so meaning individuals couldn't go in it for so long, so I guess no one reported on it, perhaps?
Evidently not.
Sometimes you don't see the trees from the forest, or you don't see the forest from the trees.
But this I need some love. It really does.
Oh, thank you.
He's a good cleaner, professional cleaning, stripping and waxing and sealing and all that.
Yes. We'll work.
Anyway,
Thank you. Number 9, approve amended budgets for 2022 and proposed budgets of 2023 and recommend for publication.
We're gonna start with 2022, which should be the single sheet on the bottom of your bigger packets. The grand total revenues is $17,404,234. Total expenditures, $21,017,499. Total sources and uses is $11,034. A beginning fund balance of $37,771,935. Ending fund balance $34,257,155. With all the enterprise fund adjustments, which includes assets, the net pension fund, and the OPEB responsibilities, the total ending fund balance for 2022 is $34,649,591. So if you flip past the budget message and the 2023 proposed budgets, we'll do the individual funds.
Okay.
It's a solid waste papers.
Before you start going through it, I'd like to ask the committee to consider allowing us to review this prior to approving the budget for 2023, and that we approve it at the November 22nd meeting.
So what happens is we propose it. It has to go out for a public hearing, which happens at the first meeting in, the second meeting in December, and that's when you actually approve it. We're just gonna request permission to put it out for publication for the public hearing that happens at that meeting in December. We approve the 2022 amendments, but not the proposed.
Okay, so
Is usually what happens.
I just want to make sure that I have time to go read through this and make my comments on it relative to Kim's email asking us to cut back spending, basically. I want to make sure that we're not approving it tonight and that we do have time to review it, because this is the first time that I'm getting to see it.
Yeah, you're approving the amended budget for 22.
Then we do have
Proposed budget.
another one in December.
Yeah, we'll adopt that one with comment prior.
And so the one that's going to be published will be noted as proposed 2023 budget.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we're gonna be looking at the column that says 2022 projected year-end and November amendment. That'll be the column I'm reading on each of them for this round. General fund, total revenues, $2,285,440. Total expenditures, $2,678,255. Total sources, transfers out, $474,980. Beginning fund balance, $3,756,699. An ending fund balance of $2,888,904. 1% sales tax. Total revenues, $2,403,062. Total expenditures, $1,491,479. Total transfers out, $963,600. Beginning fund balance, $4,001,128, ending fund balance, $3,949,111. Road and Bridge Fund, total revenues, $153,618. Total expenditures, $1,220,942. Total sources, $983,510. Beginning fund balance, $1,350,934. Ending fund balance, $1,267,120. Off-duty officer fund, total revenues, $25,418. Total expenditures, $15,054. Total transfers out, $10,000. Beginning fund balance, $5,037. Ending fund balance, $5,401. Criminal court fund, total revenues, $195,687. Total expenditures, $281,504. Total sources, $76,130. Beginning fund balance, $18,557. Ending fund balance, $8,807. Library fund, total revenues, $740,363. Total expenditures, $898,470. That's a deficiency of $158,107. Beginning fund balance, $2,981,388. Ending fund balance, $2,823,281. Road lighting district number 1. Total revenues, $46,307. Total expenditures, $67,825. Deficiency of $21,518. Beginning fund balance, $940,200. Ending fund balance, $918,682. Consolidated road lighting district number 1. Total revenues, $52,277. Total expenditures, $46,094. Beginning fund balance, $337,691. Ending fund balance, $343,874. OEP federal grants, total revenues, $737,666. Total expenditures, $1,400,984. Transfers in, $229,148. Beginning fund balance, $2,647,028. Ending fund balance, $2,212,858. Office of Emergency Preparedness, total revenues, $175,057. Total expenditures, $315,091. Transfers in, $150,000. Beginning fund balance, $7,147. Ending fund balance, $17,113. 0.5% sales tax, which is the road fund. Total revenues, $1,068,899. Total expenditures, $1,666,102. Transfers out of $75,000. Beginning fund balance, $2,546,497. Ending fund balance, $1,874,294. 4% sales tax, which is the drainage fund. Total revenues, $489,712. Total expenditures, $1,027,610. Transfers out, $31,500. Beginning fund balance, $1,724,944. Ending fund balance, $5,546. 911 Parish Communications, total revenues, $157,066. Total expenditures, $306,125. Beginning fund balance, $615,273. Ending fund balance, $466,214. Consolidated Fire District, Pepper Del River, total revenues, $278,352. Total expenditures, $277,352. Transfers out of $1,000, beginning and ending fund balance, $169,895. Consolidated Fire District, Pinkerville, total revenues, $277,878. Total expenditures, $276,878. Transfers out, $1,000, beginning and ending fund balance, $169,898. Consolidated Fire District, Napoleonville, total revenues, $247,569. Total expenditures, $246,569. Transfers out, $1,000, beginning and ending fund balance, $152,225. Consolidated Fire District, Bayou Lewis, total revenues, $159,025. Total expenditures, $158,025. Transfers out, $1,000, beginning and ending fund balance, $99,190. Council on Aging, total revenues, $1,127,700. Total expenditures, $1,176,231. Beginning fund balance, $648,740. Ending fund balance, $600,209. Consolidated Fire District Labadaville, total revenues, $176,986. Total expenditures, $175,986. Transfers out, $1,000. Beginning fund balance, $125,940. Ending fund balance, the same. Public Buildings Fund, total revenues, $121,114. Total expenditures, $346,024. Transfers out of $2,129. Beginning fund balance, $1,460,644. Ending fund balance, $1,233,605. The Cooperative, Louisiana Cooperative Extension Office, total revenues, $314,921. Total expenditures, $162,628. Beginning fund balance, $846,504. Ending fund balance, $998,797. Library Board Fund, total revenues, $17,000. Total expenditures, $16,970. Beginning fund balance, $41,511. Ending fund balance, $41,541. Lower Bell River Drainage District number 12, total revenues, $565. Total expenditures, $1,259. Beginning fund balance, $10,472. Ending $9,778. Labadaville Drainage District number 3, total revenues are a deficit of $1,009. Total expenditures, $241. Beginning fund balance, $25,317. Ending fund balance, $24,067. Myray Drainage District, total revenues, a deficit of $1,324. Total expenditures, $100. Beginning fund balance, $11,989. Ending fund balance, $10,565. Part-time Drainage District, total revenues, deficit of $3,205. Total expenditures of $2. Beginning fund balance, $26,588. Ending fund balance, $23,381. Landry Subdivision Gravity Drainage District, total revenues, $17,144. Total expenditures, $65,167. Transfers in of $10,000. Beginning fund balance, $57,892. Ending fund balance, $19,869. Oak Ridge Drainage District, total revenues, $3,273. Total expenditures, $7,329. Beginning fund balance, $23,733. Ending fund balance, $19,677. Northwest Side LA 70 Drainage District, total revenues, $3,529. Total expenditures, $32,268. Transfer in of $10,000. Beginning fund balance, $23,527. Ending fund balance, $4,788. Knott's Gravity Drainage District, total revenues, a deficit of $1,665. Total expenditures of $2,232. Beginning fund balance, $37,210. Ending fund balance, $33,313. LA 70 to Lee Drive Drainage District, total revenues, $4,505. Total expenditures, $12,990. Beginning fund balance, $38,970. Ending $30,485. Pierpont Bell River Recreation Bond Sinking Fund, which is a debt service fund, zero revenues. Total expenditures, $98,468. Transfers in of $98,468. Beginning and ending fund balance, zero. Pierpont Bell River Recreation District Veterans Park, total revenues, $196,522. Total expenditures, $202,792. Transfers out, $98,468. Beginning fund balance, $455,157. Ending fund balance, $350,419. Assumption Gravity Drainage District number 2, total revenues, $3,289. Total expenditures, $933. Beginning fund balance, $250,793. Ending fund balance, $253,149. Assumption Gravity Drainage District number 5, Plottenville, total revenues, a deficit of $1,374. Total expenditures, $326. Beginning fund balance, $23,188. Ending $21,488. Bertrandville Recreation District, total revenues, a negative $233. Total expenditures, $5. Beginning fund balance, $2,550. ending fund balance $2,312. Bayou Pierpont North Drainage District, total revenues $250, total expenditures $642, beginning fund balance $2,057, ending $1,665. Pierpont Settlement Drainage District, total revenues $839, total expenditures $2,232, a transfer in of $1,500, beginning fund balance $2,203, ending fund balance $2,310. Bonassa 2021 bonds, total revenues $54,594, total expenditures $506,000, transfers out $247,898, beginning fund balance $11,218,155, ending fund balance $10,518,851. Lower Texas Drainage District, total revenues $5,100, total expenditures $0, beginning fund balance $0, ending fund balance $5,100. Bayou Lewis Gravity Drainage District, total revenues $72,870, total expenditures $67,914, transfers in of $10,000, beginning fund balance $55,697, ending fund balance $70,653. Bayou Lewis Recreation District, total revenues $189,711, total expenditures $118,330, beginning fund balance $428,888, ending fund balance $500,269. Solid Waste, which is an enterprise fund, total revenues $2,901,459, total expenditures $2,625,364. A beginning fund balance of $98,018 and ending fund balance of $387,952. With the enterprise fund adjustments, leaves a total ending fund balance of $346,138. Special Industry Fund, which is also an enterprise fund, total revenues $99,103, total expenditures $82,966. Beginning fund balance $17,534, ending fund balance $57,876, with the enterprise fund adjustments, ending fund balance $380,945. Mosquito Abatement Enterprise Fund, total revenues $219,119, total expenditures $216,497. Beginning fund balance $254,107, ending fund balance $305,280, with the enterprise fund adjustments, total ending fund balance of $418,323. Consolidated Sewer District Enterprise Fund, total revenues $116,860, total expenditures $234,665, transfers in of $130,000, beginning fund balance of $6,022, ending fund balance $19,073, with the enterprise fund adjustments, total ending fund balance $17,211. Airport Bell River Recreation Bond Construction Fund, which is a project budget, had no amendment for this. It's the same as we approved in August. Community Development Fund, total revenues $6,605, total expenditures $177,119, transfers in $178,050, beginning fund balance $15,346, ending fund balance $22,882. Energy Assistance Program, total revenues $347,750, total expenditures the same, beginning and ending fund balance $0. Emergency Food and Shelter, total revenues $42,463, total expenditures the same, beginning and ending fund balance $0. Section 8 Housing, total revenues $558,690, total expenditures $558,757, beginning fund balance $39,438, ending fund balance $39,371. Community Services Block Grant, total revenues $144,607, total expenditures the same, beginning ending fund balance $0. Capital outlay, repaving of Lee Drive, the budget for this year has been zeroed out because the project will be moved toward next year once we get the construction bids in. Capital outlay, Pottenville Drainage, total revenues $48,750, public total expenditures $65,000, transfers in $16,250, beginning ending fund balance $0. Capital outlay, Assumption Pumps and Drainage, total revenues $7,500, total expenditures $10,000, transfers in $2,500, beginning and ending fund balance $0. Housing Preservation Grant, total revenues $99,489, expenditures the same, beginning and ending fund balance $0. Community Action Advisory Board, 0 revenues, 0 expenditures, beginning and ending fund balance of $14. Line item appropriation for the fire hydrants, total revenues $587,880, total expenditures the same, beginning and ending fund balance 0. Line item appropriation for the Plottenville Drainage Project, total revenues $91,000, total expenditures $91,000, beginning and ending fund balance of 0. The LEGAP grant for the Marcula, the Community Center improvements and the payloader, total revenues $42,179, total expenditures $44,308, transfers in of $2,129, beginning and ending fund balance 0. LEGAP Community Water Enrichment, portable water improvements, total revenues $47,945, total expenditures the same, beginning and ending fund balance 0. The GAP grant for the front-loading trailer and motor, total revenues $33,800, total expenditures $44,690, transfers in $10,890, beginning and ending fund balance 0. The GAP grant the community water enrichment for pump house upgrades, total revenues $64,500, total expenditures the same, beginning and ending fund balance 0. The GAP grant for the community water enrichment, water intake has no budget for this year. We're still waiting on the signed contract from the state. Recreation Trails grant for the Pierpont Bell River Recreation Canoe and Kayak Docks. Total revenues $75,457. Total expenditures $86,491. Transfers in of $11,034. Beginning and ending fund balance 0. Low income water assistance program. Total revenues $74,580. Total expenditures the same. Beginning and ending fund balance of 0. Disaster recovery program, which was a project budget, has no amendment. It's the same as we approved in August. Land and Water Conservation Fund project budget, that's for the Pierpont Bell River Recreation District. Total revenues $972,222. Total expenditures $1,944,443. Transfers in of $972,221. Beginning and ending fund balance 0. The American Rescue Act, which is a project budget. Total revenues $4,252,070. Total expenditures the same, beginning and ending fund balance 0. The line item appropriation for the repaving of Lee Drive. Total revenues $1 million. Total expenditures $1,370,000. Transfers in $370,000.
Good job. Good, just halfway.
I have a question here. This Assumption Gravity Drainage District number 2, what is that?
That's the Baker Canal, off of 308.
What it,
It's a drainage district.
it's a district?
Uh-huh.
Well, I see that the amount they had was $250,000.
They're fixing to use it. The dredge that we
Yeah,
have.
oh, okay, all right, okay.
For 2022, yes.
There's one in 100.
Don't want to do that. Separate motions or the other.
You still got to read 2023. Make a motion to accept the 2022 amended budget.
Okay, motion by Mr. Nakane.
It's just the two columns.
Second, oh, okay.
Second, you on that, Mara?
All right.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, second by Mr. Mathern, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries.
All right, so I'm going to read the summary, which is right past Kim's budget message. Total revenues, $18,432,973. Total expenditures, $30,837,495. Transfers in $2,847,372. Transfers out $3,290,782. Beginning fund balance $34,257,155. Ending fund balance $21,363,549. With the enterprise fund adjustments, leaves us a total ending fund balance of $21,801,659. I'll be reading the second to last column on the fund worksheets.
This is the proposed 2023
Proposed for
budget.
2023. Total revenues, general fund, total revenues, $2,252,414. Total expenditures, $2,942,858. Total sources, $569,209. Beginning fund balance, $2,888,904. Ending fund balance, $1,629,251. 1% sales tax, Total revenues, $2,328,650. Total expenditures, $1,531,419. Transfers out, $965,160. Beginning fund balance, $3,949,111. Ending fund balance, $3,781,182. Road and Bridge Fund, total revenues, $66,656. Total expenditures, $1,189,786. Transfers in, $994,400. Beginning fund balance, $1,267,120. Ending fund balance, $1,138,390. Off-duty officer fund, total revenues, $25,918. Total expenditures, $16,057. Transfers out, $10,000. Beginning fund balance, $5,401. Ending fund balance, $5,262. Criminal Court Fund, total revenues, $195,687. Total expenditures, $296,295. Total sources, $98,369. Beginning fund balance, $8,870. Ending fund balance, $6,631. Library Fund, total revenues, $738,763. Total expenditures, $942,972. Beginning fund balance, $2,823,281. Ending fund balance, $2,619,072. Road Lighting District Number 1, total revenues, $46,307. Total expenditures, $71,847. Beginning fund balance, $918,682. Ending fund balance, $893,142. Consolidated Road Lighting District, total revenues, $52,277. Total expenditures, $49,882. Beginning fund balance, $343,874. Ending fund balance, $346,269. OEP federal grants, total revenues, $737,666. Total expenditures, $777,718. Beginning fund balance, $2,212,858. Ending fund balance, $2,172,806. Office of Emergency Preparedness, total revenues, $793,056. Total expenditures, $944,790. Transfers in of $150,000. Beginning fund balance, $17,113. Ending fund balance of $15,379. 5% sales tax, which is the road fund, total revenues, $1,068,899. Total expenditures, $2,149,552. Transfers out of $136,000. Beginning fund balance, $1,874,294. Ending fund balance, $657,641. 4% sales tax, the drainage fund, total revenues, $449,372. Total expenditures, $1,190,127. Transfers out of $12,500. Beginning fund balance, $1,155,546. Ending fund balance, $402,291. 911 communications, total revenues, $157,066. Total expenditures, $329,454. Beginning fund balance, $466,214. Ending fund balance, $293,826. Consolidated Fire District, Pierpont Bell River, total revenues, $278,352. Total expenditures, $277,352. Transfer out $1,000. Beginning and ending fund balance, $169,895. Consolidated Fire District, Pankaville, total revenues, $277,878. Total expenditures, $276,878. Transfers out $1,000. Beginning and ending fund balance, $169,898. Consolidated Fire District, Napoleonville, total revenues, $247,569. Total expenditures, $246,569. Transfers out $1,000. Beginning and ending fund balance, $152,225. By Lewis Consolidated Fire District, total revenues, $159,025. Total expenditures, $158,025. Transfers out $1,000. Beginning and ending fund balance, $99,190. Council on Aging, total revenues, $1,127,383. Total expenditures, $1,176,295. Beginning fund balance, $600,209. Ending fund balance, $551,297. Consolidated Fire District, Labradorville, total revenues, $176,986. Total expenditures, $175,996. Transfers out $1,000. Beginning and ending fund balance, $125,940. Public Buildings Fund, total revenues, $118,730. Total expenditures, $368,073. Beginning fund balance, $1,233,605. Ending fund balance, $984,262. Louisiana Cooperative Extension, total revenues, 106,638, total expenditures, 385,782, beginning fund balance, 998,797, ending fund balance, 719,653. Library Board Fund, total revenues, 4,454, total expenditures, 4,254, beginning fund balance, 41,541, ending fund balance, 41,741. Lower Bell River Drainage District, total revenues, $565, total expenditures, 1,262, beginning fund balance, 9,778, ending fund balance, 9,081. Robertville Drainage District, total revenues, a deficit of $1,009, total expenditures, $246, beginning fund balance, $24,067, ending fund balance, $22,812. Monterey Drainage District, total revenues, a negative of $1,384, total expenditures of $0, beginning fund balance of $10,565, ending fund balance $9,181. Hard Times Drainage District, total revenues, a negative $3,205, total expenditures $2, beginning fund balance $23,381, ending fund balance $20,174. Rangers Subdivision Drainage District, total revenues $17,144, total expenditures $25,609, beginning fund balance $19,869, ending $11,404. Oak Ridge Subdivision Drainage District, total revenues $3,263, total expenditures $8,515, beginning fund balance $19,677, ending $14,435. Northwest Side LA 70 Drainage District, total revenues $3,529, total expenditures $10,045, transfers in $10,000, beginning fund balance $4,788, ending fund balance $8,272. Notch Drainage District, total revenues a negative $1,665, total expenditures $2,440, beginning fund balance $33,313, ending fund balance $29,208. LA 70 to Lee Drive Drainage District, total revenues $4,505, total expenditures $8,130, beginning fund balance $30,485, ending fund balance $26,860. Pierpont Bell River Recreation Sinking Fund, total revenue $0, total expenditures $99,358, transfers in at the same, beginning fund balance and ending fund balance $0. Pierpont Bell River Recreation District Veterans Park, total revenues $171,904, total expenditures $162,195, transfers out $194,734, beginning fund balance $350,419, ending $165,394. Assumption Gravity Drainage District number 2, total revenues $3,289, total expenditures $940, beginning fund balance $253,149, ending fund balance $255,498. Assumption Drainage District number 5, Plottenville, total revenues a negative $1,374, total expenditures $583, beginning fund balance $21,488, ending $19,531. Bertrandville Recreation District, total revenues a negative $233, total expenditures of $10, beginning fund balance $2,312, ending fund balance $2,069. Pierpont, Bayou Pierpont North Drainage District, total revenues $250, total expenditures $819, beginning fund balance $1,665, ending fund balance $1,096. Pierpont Settlement Drainage District, total revenues $839, total expenditures $3,247, transfers in of $2,500, beginning fund balance $2,310, ending $2,402. COMESA 2021 bonds, total revenues $54,594, total expenditures $6,607,950, transfers out of $1,356,917. Beginning fund balance $10,518,851, ending fund balance $2,608,578. Lower Texas Drainage District, total revenues $4,100, total expenditures of $0, beginning fund balance of $5,100, ending $9,200. Bayou Lewis Drainage District, total revenues $72,870, total expenditures $73,239, beginning fund balance $70,653, ending $70,284. By Lewis Recreation District, total revenues $190,688, total expenditures $179,335, beginning fund balance $500,269, ending $511,622. Solid Waste Enterprise Fund, total revenues, $2,603,987. Total expenditures, $2,684,637. Beginning fund balance, $387,952, ending $321,141. With the enterprise fund adjustments, total ending fund balance, $265,488. OEP Special Industry Fund, Enterprise Fund, total revenues, $80,350, total expenditures, $86,137. Beginning fund balance, $57,876, ending $75,569. Enterprise fund adjustments leaves us with $375,158. Mosquito Abatement Enterprise Fund, total revenues, $8,305, total expenditures, $230,838. Beginning fund balance of $305,280, ending fund balance $120,065. With the enterprise fund adjustments, total ending fund balance $267,790. Consolidated Sewer District Enterprise Fund, total revenues $116,155, total expenditures $244,673. Transfers in of $180,000, beginning fund balance $19,073, ending fund balance $22,244. With the enterprise fund adjustments, total ending fund balance $68,693. The Cape River Recreation Bond Construction Fund, which is a project budget, has no amendment. Community Development Fund, total revenues $13, total expenditures $205,054, transfers in of $202,600. Beginning fund balance $22,882, ending fund balance of $20,441. Energy Assistance Program, total revenues $218,169, expenses the same, beginning and ending fund balance $0. Emergency Food and Shelter, total revenues $10,380, expenses the same, beginning and ending fund balance $0. Section 8 Housing, total revenues $575,704, total expenditures $583,344. Beginning fund balance $39,371, ending fund balance $31,731. Community Services Block Grant, total revenues $73,190, expenses the same, beginning and ending fund balance $0. Capital outlay, repaving of Lee Drive, total revenues $300,000, total expenditures $400,000, transfers in of $100,000, beginning and ending fund balance of $0. Capital outlay for the Plottenville drainage, total revenues $1,751,250, total expenditures $2,535,000, transfers in $783,750, beginning and ending fund balance $0. Capital outlay for the Assumption Parish pumps and drainage, total revenues $492,500, total expenditures $656,667, transfers in of $164,167, beginning and ending fund balance of $0. Housing Preservation has no budget for 2023 as the grant is finished. Community Action Board, total revenue $0, total expenditures $0, beginning and ending fund balance $14. Line item appropriation for the fire hydrants has no budget for 23, project is finished. Plottenville Drainage District has no budget because the project is finished. The gap for the Maracula has no budget. The gap for the potable water has no budget. The front loading trailer has no budget. The pump house upgrades has no budget. The gap for the community water enrichment for water intake has total revenues $125,000, total expenditures the same, beginning and ending fund balance $0. Recreation Trails Grant for the Parish River Recreation Canoe and Kayak Docks, total revenues $56,543, total expenditures $77,509, transfers in of $20,966, beginning and ending fund balance of $0. Low Income Water Assistance Program, total revenues $21,001, total expenditures the same, beginning and ending fund balance $0. Disaster Recovery Grant is finished. Land and Water has the same budget as the November 22 amendment. Same thing for the American Rescue Act and the line item appropriation for the repaving of Lee Drive.
Well, we'll make a motion to accept the proposed budgets for 2023 and recommend for publication.
Motion by Mr. Nakane,
Second.
second by Mr. Diaz, all in favor? Any nays? Motion carries.
And just a comment. And call for a public hearing. That's part of the proposal. Call for public hearing. I think we also saw a little message from the Secretary of Treasury, but we're going to have to do some looking at this budget before we approve and adopt it. Because I think we're spending more than what we're taking in. And we got to make some cuts, make some adjustments, and just look at it. Not make a full discussion tonight, but it's gonna be definitely gonna need some attention. We got it in front of us, we got a little time to look at it, study it, and you get maybe with Miss Melissa and Miss Torres, get us some good recommendations where cutting is not always easy, but we're gonna go broke if we don't. So anyway. That's my comment.
Any other
Motion
comment?
adjourned.
Other comments? All right, motion by Mr. Nake. Second by Mr. Cole. Meeting adjourned. Personnel.
All right, call the personnel committee meeting to order. All members are present except Mr. Ron Alcone. First item, discuss floodplain manager, permitting officer, planning and zoning opening.
Okay, I asked that it be put on the agenda to the point that there's no one in that office. Both Ann and Carol that work for me are working that office as best they can. You know, my understanding is, I'm not sure if there are 2 or 3 applicants.
There are 2 applicants and we did receive a 3rd resume today. I don't know when the deadline was though, so.
And I think the deadline
it
was
passed.
Friday, right? So I know the jury, I guess they have to be provided to the jury. Jury has to discuss it, and I would imagine if they are considered qualified, interview the ones that are qualified and make a selection if that's what they want to do. Unfortunately, we are extremely short-handed. I've expressed some concern that I've got 2 employees that have to use leave or lose leave. And if they use the amount of leave that they need to use between now and the calendar year, there'll only be 1 person in that office. And that person has to do various items outside of that office, i.e. Go and do some field work as far as addressing for 911, making deposits, putting tapes and safety deposit boxes, and while all that's going on, no one's there. I don't have a problem with answering the phones and trying to help people if possible. However, I don't have access to South Central Planning's permitting software, neither does Ann. So we're extremely short-handed. We need to make a decision on this.
Explain that when you make reference to not having access to the software. Is it not something that we are entitled to, or does it take a while to adapt to it?
Well, first of all, you have to have a user ID and password, and you need to be trained on that. And I think Mr. Ray had some problems initially, and he was working closely with them. It takes a while. You know, we pay a considerable amount of money to South Central Planning. However, we're very limited right now, not having anybody in that office.
So basically what you're saying is Carol have access and she the only one that have access to that.
Correct. Now, prior to Carol, it was Ray. I know John didn't have access to it.
I still have mine from when I worked in that work.
You have access?
Yeah, so somebody can use my ID if they need to.
And I know some of the juries had, well, I don't know if it's still valid. I don't know.
It is.
And I know some of the jurors were saying, try to utilize some people from the front office and come back there. However, they don't have access to the software, nor are they familiar. They were familiar with the ordinances, but they haven't touched it in a while.
I think Kim Oakland has some knowledge of it.
Has some knowledge.
She's helping on me.
I know
who's
she's
also
helping on you.
short-staffed, so.
I know.
The deadline Friday, she will have a special meeting next week to,
No, the deadline to pass already for the applications. They came in, it was last Friday for the application. So I guess we look at the resumes and move forward in it. But I still won't solve the problem for these employees right here. Even if we hire somebody within the next couple of weeks.
They still have to be
They
trained.
still, from what I'm understanding, the applicants, none of them have experience. So we still have to start in green, training somebody.
And the hardship that was placed on the office based on Mrs. Nicholas's resignation, you know, the ladies they have time to take, but we can't afford to not have them in the office. So what I would like us to do is to consider allowing them to carry over more than the 240 hours to next year and allow them to take that leave next year to give them the opportunity to work in the office.
What,
and not
with
lose
the
their time.
exception that they can't take off everyone towards the end of the year, use that time throughout the year.
Well, they can work it out within their office, but.
Yeah.
But to
And
allow
limit it
the,
out where we don't get in this situation every year that everyone wants to take off during the last.
And they're agreeable to that.
the problem here was we had a resignation just a month ago that threw the entire office into chaos. So my recommendation is to allow them to carry over their current allotment into next
I'll go
year.
along with that.
Sounds good.
Motion by Mr. Blanchard,
I'll second it.
second by Mr.
And we think within the understanding that next year they will be down within their $240.
That's right. They will only carry over 240 at the end. of
Second by
20.
Mr. Irvin, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Next item, request approval to hire an equipment operator number 2.
Yes, the parish manager was authorized and granted to hire an equipment operator 2 at a previous meeting. Mr. Bronson Coupel was hired at a grade 5, step 18.
So he's already been hired.
Yes, sir, he's already hired.
We need a motion to, just a.
Motion to accept his hire.
Accept his hire.
Yeah.
Okay, motion by Mr. Diaz, second by Mr. Blanchard, all in favor? Any opposed? Ayes have it. Update on the Christmas party. Put that on. agenda.
You got Ms. Don?
Didn't Sandy email you something referencing it?
Who's that? Me?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Yes, you did.
Sandy did?
Yes, you
Oh, I
did.
didn't read that.
But I can just say that Ron has actually took the ball by the and started preparing things. He has actually secured CJ Savoy's office for the catering. He has an email out to someone else for the drinks and the spirits. He is obtaining quotes for the caterer so that he can provide that to Joseph's office. Sandy informed him that Paul's brother may be interested in DJing. So that's pretty much everything that has actually been accomplished, other than the vendors. We've actually emailed the vendors for door prizes, and we are collecting those.
Great.
Pretty much it in a
And what's the
nutshell.
date? I know we had.
December 9th.
December 9th at 7.
Good job, Mr. Ron. Thank you, Ms. Don.
You're welcome.
No action on that.
Motion
Motion
adjourned.
adjourned by Mr. Blanchard,
Second.
second by Mr. Palmer, all in favor? Any opposed? Person never been a meeting is adjourned.
If you want. That, mister. Yeah.
Okay, road and bridge. Call road and bridge committee meeting to order. All members are present except Mr. Ron Alcorn. Discuss speeds bump installation of Rudy B. Cajun. Or
Rudy Cajun, we had passed this a couple months back. And when I went to mark the streets to put the speed bumps down, a bunch got some calls, and then they called me. So 4 people that had signed their names now want to remove their names from the list. And so instead of having 82%, they only have 45% of the qualified signatures they need now. So I didn't want to just put them down and then.
So at this time, I'll make a motion that we retract the speed bump approval for Rudy Cajun due to lack of signatures.
Second.
motion by Mr. Blanchard, second by Mr. Palmer, all in favor? Any opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 2, request approval for speed bumps on newly submitted speed bump application on Foley Avenue, Ward 5, Ellen Hall Avenue, Ward 5, and Derrick Street, Ward 8.
These are 3 new applications that I've been working on, and they all meet the requirements. Recommend that you guys go ahead and approve them for speed bumps.
Motion by Mr. Diaz, second by Mr. Blanchard, all in favor? Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion was to adjourn by Mr. Diaz, second by Mr. Blanchard. Road and Bridge Committee is adjourned.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started with the Engineering Grants Committee meeting. All members are present except for Mr. Ron Alcorn. First item is update from the grants coordinator.
Hello, good afternoon. Last week I was able to submit our capital outlay applications. And I was able to get Mr. Jacob and Mr. Joseph to help me with that and review it before I submitted it. Also, update on Lee Drive, I was able to get that into Mr. James Lee's hands. And so he currently has it, so we're just waiting for him to review it. Also, I'm currently working on the CDBG, and I plan to have that CDBG application, I plan to have that finished by next Friday. Mr. Joseph has provided me with the necessary cost estimates for Lewis Lane and Belrose Lane. In addition to Mr. Leroy and I had a citizen participation summit this past Monday. That was part of the citizen participation requirements for our application. Moreover, there's another citizen participation element of the CDBG application. So basically, once we're finished with the application, we need to have a couple days where the public is able to come review our application and provide any necessary comments. And I was able to put an ad in the Bayou Journal for next week to let the public know that they're able to come and review the application once it is finished before we submit it.
Mr. Jordan, while he's there, shouldn't the same be done for as the public?
Yeah,
relative to-
yes, you will need a public participation meeting for the Lewis Lane as well.
So so the public participation hearing that we had was for the community development block grant program without a project specific. It wasn't a project specific hearing. It was just to hear the public on any inputs they had as to where they wanted the projects to go.
I wasn't sure if he was speaking specifically to the roles, but it was inclusive.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, that's what I've got going on so far. So, thank you.
Good. All right, thank you. Next item is update on drainage master plan by GIS engineering. Found some money yet?
Good afternoon, working on it. In one avenue, yes, but not on the drainage at this point. The CPRA annual plan was updated. We sent that in as of last time. Working on the report, shooting for the end of this month and wrap that up. Followed a bunch of elections and stuff last night. So we're in the middle of making that right and going to see everybody, congratulating everybody. We have found out just recently, as of this afternoon, the water sector met, and tomorrow is the actual official committee meeting. But your Virginia scored 72 points. Last round one, the sewer selections ranged from 51 to 67 being the highest score. And your Virginia showed 72 this round. So it looks promising. We don't know what the lines are. If all the scoring criteria was increased, we don't know that effort. But tomorrow they'll announce, hopefully, the line. So who was qualified and who will be awarded through the water sector applications process. No, that's not the drainage master plan, but that's a different grant that we.
And just to be clear, that's not just your Virginia, but other sewer upgrades as well. It was.
Yes.
It was multiple projects. And
yes, there was a consolidation along that, multiple sewer. Yes. What else? So I guess that's it for now. And then capital outlay did go out, as Leonard stated.
I know you were not here earlier. We had a meeting, we discussed including the final report into our hazard mitigation plan. So just looking at about a date when we can expect to have that to be included in that plan.
And we are working with LWI DSP, which is the Constant Canal application. So I've been in touch with Leroy
and also with Mike. And I got the scope drafted, and I'll give it to you guys, a hard copy, for y'all to review, and then follow up with Paul. And he called me while he was gone as well. And with this LWI, it's due next Tuesday. I asked Leonard if he can obtain signatures on for the DSP application. There was some parish level forms, I guess, and these were sent in, and these are just to be reviewed as an early step, an early process. Certification of exemption for HUD funded projects and compliance documentation checklist. When asked for guidance, they said, we don't really know either. We just got this. These wouldn't be utilized until the project was moving into the design and or construction, but they want an early step to get the ball rolling. So these were required with the revised scope as part of the first submittal.
Who needs to sign those?
President. I'll leave these with Ms. Kim's out, so I figured he can get this. That's all. That's what I have.
That's it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Make a motion. Make a motion to authorize.
Motion to authorize the president to sign these. Motion by Leroy, second by Michael, all in favor? Opposed. Request a letter of no objection for an after-the-fact permit for emergency repairs on the Raceland and Napoleonville transmission line located in the Fuchs and Assumption Parish.
So move.
Motion by Jeff, second by Leroy, all in favor? Opposed. Approve the parish engineer to design a Monterey and Lower Texas drainage improvement projects in Ward 4.
Okay.
This is for the proposed project of the Maury drainage and Lower Texas drainage improvements. That's inclusive of expanding the existing or renovating the existing bar screen, excavating of the Maury Canal, as well as building of levees and pump stations in the Lower Texas area.
What funding source?
I believe that's coming, the design is coming from current allocated drainage funds, if I'm not mistaken. And then the construction is, construction right now, as I understand, is proposed Go Mesa.
So
yeah, I've got it.
92645 is the project number.
The last meeting, we spoke of, actually put some time
I
after.
thought it was
the-
Go Mesa money.
Yeah.
How much you got in the Go Mesa fund for that project?
I remember it's like 1.45 billion.
All that money come out of that.
Yeah.
Motion approved.
Motion by Jeff. Second by Jamie, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Request approved for engineering for ring levy and pump station on Highway 70 for a cost of $12,000.
The same thing. That's Go Mesa fund, ain't it?
It's Go Mesa funds, but
The construction will be through Go Mesa funds.
so the engineering, we was just talking with Melissa earlier, we may have to, if possible, bid everything out in one job.
So part of the audit standards is if, when you have a pot of money that you've been awarded to spend, all projects that are of the same scope have to be bid out together. So he can't do a ring levy in this community and then a ring levy in this community and then run that one and bid all those projects out separately. He has to do them all together.
Okay.
So get working.
This includes.
So the Monterey,
of
Lower
levies in
Texas.
7,
No.
or 7 and
He's talking about his
Seven,
ring
eight,
level.
and nine.
He's
So
talking
we're
about-
gonna,
Oh,
we're
all
gonna have to
his
get,
ring levy, okay.
we're gonna have to get some clarification on that, because these projects are all standalone projects that are basically gonna be shelved until we have the funding to pay for them.
I don't think she said that. I think she was referring to his ring levels, or you're not.
The
no,
ring-
this is the whole entire.
There's 1.2 million that y'all have previously approved in the Gomesa bond money for it. And then there's the separate 666,167 in the capital outlay grant that is being used, correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, for the pumps themselves. So on the $1.2 million, we can't break that up into smaller projects if the general scope of each one of them is the same thing.
When you say general scope, that could be kind of broad.
Every project is gonna be a little different.
A little different, but the general scope of them is all the same.
It's not the same. Yeah.
I don't think, I know what you're saying, but yeah, you got
It's
ring
not the
levies
same.
versus.
We have ring levies,
Versus levy.
versus repairing levies, building new levies. It's all can be classified into the one job, but it's a.
So I
Several
think,
different
maybe our correct path would be to redivide GOMESA as necessary for the different projects that we have. And not have the GOMESA funds grouped into the 1.2 and the 667.
Actually, 1.7.
Okay, so maybe we'll revisit that way and redivide GOMESA for these separate project numbers and assign each one a project.
And I think you're
That
gonna
still
have
doesn't
to,
alleviate that you breaking the projects apart. If the scope of the projects are the same, then you're not supposed to subdivide it into smaller projects.
Right, and I think we're gonna need some clarity on that because the projects are not the same.
I think they're gonna have, I think what they're getting at is when it was originally proposed under the GOMESA funds, it was kind of all thrown together as levy and levy repairs, levy installation, and pump stations. Problem is now, regardless of whether if the project's already being broken up, because now capital outlay has stepped in and said, hey, we're gonna fund $667,000 of that. That portion is gonna have to be bid out on its own in accordance with the capital outlay requirements and submitted as its own project to James Lee for review. So that portion is gonna get broken out anyway. I think, I believe Mr. Blanchard is on the correct path. We may be able to re-identify or go in and maybe, for better lack of terms, scrap the identification and the project as it currently stands under GOMESA, and then identify individual projects with their own standing budgets with that money that would be left.
As long as, from what the auditors have told me, as long as it's not, I'm building a ring levy here and I'm building a ring levy here and I'm building a ring levy here, and they 3 separate projects that y'all are bidding out or securing.
She's referring to his project.
Right, so as I understand it, the public bid law doesn't allow you to break up projects to circumvent the public bid law. Here, we are still bidding out each project as we need to. We're not circumventing the bid law. Our intent here is to make sure that we can timely complete these projects because our GOMESA funds for the bond, the clock is ticking. And we need to put these projects into smaller chunks so that we can bid them out and get them started. If we wait for the entire project as one, our timeline is going to expire for our GOMESA bond funds and we're going to lose them.
I don't think what she just said null and void what the auditors recommended. We ain't doing a ring levy here, and here. They're all 3 complete different projects.
As long as that is what's happening.
Yeah, that's
But when
what happened.
when there's a $1.2 million project, that's the funding, 1.7 we have on the books for ring levies. And then we have a project that only needs $12,000 of engineering. It seems as that little part was being broken out from the big project for it to begin, and then this is going to be done separately.
I think it brought to light a bigger problem that Mr. Blanchard's correct. I think we're going to have to, like we said, we're gonna have to take the current project that's listed.
Look, I
as
don't know what we
1.7.
gotta do, but I want ring levies and pumps.
I understand,
You ain't have permits yet.
understand, but you have to, in order to stay in line with the public bid law and follow your accounts, you're gonna have to identify each individual project and
Man,
its
we've been
budget.
talking about this for years now. I'm ready to get moving with this.
You don't have your permits yet?
No,
You don't have nothing.
That's gonna take a year and a half.
You don't have anything. I've been relying on Mr. Joseph to get this done, you know.
Are they working on your permit?
that's what they said.
He said he was working on it. I never got anything.
If you guys recall, we were in the process of performing all of this work when we were stopped because of the spending requirements for GOMESA. So we had to pump the brakes and reset how we were doing it. So now we're in the process of funding engineering independent of GOMESA so that we can use the Gomesa bond funds for construction bid purposes, and then we'll use local dollars to fund the engineering for these projects.
That way we can get going. I'm ready to get going.
Procurement, all that.
Mrs. Savoy agreed to engineer these ring levies for $12,000 of flat fee. Permits included. And like I said, I'm ready to get going. I'm ready to spend this money. We need some pumps and levies. All right, so we
What
need,
about, what about?
we take it from drainage, the remaining drainage.
Need a
application
motion
you
to
guys give it.
approve the engineered and ring levy pump station. Okay. Have a motion on that?
Well, what
I
the
need
funding?
some money. Need some money. Big Daddy,
Oh,
you
the 12, well, I see 12,000.
Easy, 12. Jamie got 12.
Have the 12,000?
I don't have
You
12,000.
don't have it in your drainage?
No, sir, you got,
Gave that up last. I gave
Yeah.
mine up last week.
Mr. Irvin, you got, 7,000.
This is the last meeting for,
Last meeting, yes, sir.
last meeting. huh?
You got 7,900, Mr. Irvin,
You got what?
7,900.
Well, good for me.
Big Daddy, you got
Hey,
5,700.
I wasn't throwing all these culvert projects up steadily either.
We
That's
needed
where
it.
your money goes.
We needed it.
You get a bump going.
I'm not doing anything that I don't need to do.
You got 60.
I can
No,
give you
that
some
project
zeros
work.
if you need
I'll
zeros. That's all I
allocate,
got.
I allocate the remaining of my drainage allocation of 57.78 to that. That's what it means. We can't spend no more money on drainage.
I don't know, I had something the last meeting came up, I don't know if she put that, she would, no, she was gonna have to, I was out of money then. She was gonna have to get it from one of my other projects.
No, last meeting you allocated $478 towards 7 to complete one of the projects I had.
Yeah, I know, but I had I don't know what project it was I had. She was gonna have to take it out of the Lavender.
I was just trying to fund some bitty basketball. You didn't see need to support it, Jamie. I'm trying to figure this out.
If, hey, if she don't have anything, you can take it out of mine.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure she had to add 3,000 to that for this, whatever the 10,000 was for.
Okay. If,
Because you currently, I think what he's referring to is the current engineering that was approved earlier this evening for T. Baker Smith on the
Yeah,
launch is
that's what it was,
10,500.
Yeah.
So if he has
Yeah,
7,000,
that's
she
what
needs
it
to
was.
transfer 3,500.
That would not be drainage funds, that would be recreation funds, right?
No, yeah, that comes out of my recreation. I'll
Okay,
give you-
then I apologize. I misspoke. I thought that might have been.
It's out of my recreation.
So it'd be-
yeah.
We'll make a
We're not
motion that
covered
use
yet.
my 5,778, your 779.25 cents.
All right, okay, all right, motion by
That's
Jeff.
How much that gives?
That's
That's
Motion
enough.
by Jeff,
7.5 is 12 all day long.
motion by Jeff to give my money to James.
How quicker that will help you get our permits?
Starting right away. I mean, we've already started on the one. We have them all, we have all 15 mapped out. Since it is a sizable project, I am gonna I'm gonna set up a meeting with DNR, probably in Baton Rouge, and I would recommend that we possibly get some jury attendance, because that sometimes helps. So I will reach out to Mr. Pondell and yourself, and once that meeting is set,
Why that haven't been done?
no.
Now you got a
You have a motion
motion.
on the floor?
Okay, motion is made by Jeff,
Second.
second by Jamie, all in favor, opposed. Next item,
Thank you,
discuss
guys.
Shell Beach Road,
Table,
vote, no,
table.
table it. Motion to adjourn. By Leroy, second by Michael, all in favor. We all.
All right, we now start the regular scheduled meeting of November 9th, 2022. The record reflected all members are present, exception of Mr. Alcorn. I'll start with a prayer led by myself, followed by the pledge from Mr. Carter. God who teaches us by sending the light of his Holy Spirit into our hearts, grant that by the light of that Spirit, right judgment may be ours, and that we may forever find joy in his guidance.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
I have the approval of the minutes of October the 26th, 2022. That was
So
previously
moved.
provided to you. Motion by Mr. Como,
Second.
second by Mr. Blanchard. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Now I have a public comments period. Let the record reflect there isn't any public comments. Next, we have the Emergency Preparedness Committee report from Mr. Thomas.
Yeah.
Mr. Knopf.
Yeah, emergency preparedness meeting met at 3 o'clock, all of them were present. We just had most of the discussion, Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness grant discussion. We had several people in the audience and a few on Zoom. Ashley Beats, our representative, was here. They gave some updates, trying to help us find some money on a Gustav grant. Money that's outstanding and a lot of discussion. We discussed also this disaster management, which Mr. Tom gonna look into it. And they say that's it, all formal motion.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Nake.
Second.
Second by
Want to add
Mr.
anything to that time?
Okay.
I think you covered it all.
Okay.
Second by Mr. Carter. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Next, we had the Federal Programs Committee meeting that was chaired by myself. All members were present, with the exception of Mr. Alcorn. First, we authorized the president to sign the fiscal year 2023 CSBG contract. And also we had the federal programs report fiscal year 2021 and 2022. That was chaired by Mrs. Bernard. Get a motion, accept?
Motion to accept that, right?
Yeah, any motion by Mr. Conville? Second by Mr. Blanchard. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Next, we had the Finance Committee meeting that was chaired by myself. And the only member absent was Mr. Alcorn. First, we had a request to approval to pay bills submitted through November 4th, 2022. We also request approval of the quarterly report by the Chamber of Commerce, and we authorized allocation that quarter. We also request approval to transfer an additional $4,800 for a total of $61,000 from the road fund to the repaving of Lee Drive project to cover coverages as reflected on current project budget.
Hold on 1 second.
Next, we discussed and considered funding for a parish-wide basketball program, whereas recommendation was that we do a one-time allocation and for it also to be ran by an outside source and not the parish. Anything you want to add to that, Ms. Carter? Was there anything additional? Okay, next, we had authorized the president to sign the proposal for professional services for the Bayou Lewis boat launch. Number 6 was discuss courthouse repairs. We tabled it, as well as discuss the detective's office exterior repairs. We tabled it as well. Followed by discuss the DMV owning project. And, we basically had a low bid in the amount of $16,907. And that was from Sage Construction. Also, we approve amended budget for 2022 and proposed budget for 2023 and recommend for publication.
And public hearing.
And public hearing.
Motion to accept as read.
All right, motion by Mr. Fonville, second by Mr. Diaz. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Next, we have Personnel Committee chaired by Mr. Carter.
Personnel committee met, all members present, said Mr. Ron Alcorn. First item, discuss the floodplain manager permitting officer planning and zoning opening. 2 applicants, 2 resumes was accepted. The deadline was last Friday, so we're gonna look at those resumes and set up some interviews. Also, the ladies that's working in the office is gonna be allowed to carry over their vacation to the next year due to shortage of personnel. Next, we had request approval to hire equipment operator. grade 5, step. what's that here, Brian? Step 18. That was approved. And then had an update on the Christmas party. Here they all is in the form of motion.
Okay, motion by Mr. Carter, second by Mr. Nakane, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. We also had the Road and Bridge Committee meeting, also chaired by Mr. Carter.
Road and Bridge Committee met. They were present around Alcon. First, we had application for speed bumps on Rudy Cajun Ward 8. Ward 7. It's Ward 7. And then we had request approval for speed bump notice submitted, speed bump application for Foley Avenue, Allen Hall Avenue, and Derry Street. That also was approved. We all listen to form of motion.
Motion by Mr. Carter. Second by Mr. Palmer, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Next, we had the Engineering Grants Committee meeting chaired by Mr. Kumar.
Yes, the Engineering Grant Committee met this afternoon. All members were present except for Mr. Ron Alcone, who was given an update from the grant coordinator. Who was given an update on drainage master plan by GIS Engineering. And we approved the president to sign a CFR 58.6 and a CFR 58.34 for the Consonant Canal. We approved the letter of no objection for after the fact permit for emergency repairs on Racement to the Boyville transmission line located in the Fuchs and Assumption parishes. We approved the parish engineer to design the Murray and Lower Texas drainage improvement project. We approved the engineering for the ring levee and pump station on Highway 70. And the last item is tabled. It's all in the form of a motion.
Before we vote on that, guys, wouldn't you want to move the remaining allocation to that project,
To your project?
to yours?
Um,
did.
No, he's talking about mine, what I've got left. I was gonna help you, but you've got enough. But mine, yes, I would like to move to my project.
The Murray Drainage Project.
Remaining,
Yeah.
might be drainage allocation. Motion, so you making that motion here?
Yes, sir.
Second that motion.
Okay, motion by Mr. Palmville, second by Mr. Nakane, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Okay. Next, we have request approval of an occupational license for Red Stick Sports, Baton Rouge, Southern Staffing Services, LLC, Martin City.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Nakane, second by Mr. Diaz, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Next, we have discussed the pickup by Waste Depot. Mr. Carter?
I put this on the agenda. We never got clarification on Waste Depot, whether they're gonna pick up pull down trailers that we put to the side of the road, or pull down sheds, houses, whatever it is. So I was hoping to have a representative here from Waste Depot to discuss it. We need to know so we can educate the public, either they're gonna be picking it up or they're not.
Are they tearing it on themselves or they getting a contract?
So if you recall, Mr. Boudreaux was supposed to come to a meeting, but he was in the hospital prior to that meeting, and he said he was gonna come to the next meeting after that. And he
But
hasn't come
he
yet.
ended up staying in the hospital several weeks. Don't understand. We'll get him there, but as the contract reads, yeah, I mean, if there's even if you got a trailer on lot without a water meter on it, if you got a meter, you don't have garbage service, we're not liable for that. But if you tear out a shed, behind your house, do a little remodeling yourself, and put 4 yards, cubic yards up the road at a time, they'll pick it up.
Okay, so if I have a trailer, I got a water meter, and I'm getting me a new trailer, so I gotta tear this trailer down to make room for my new trailer. I tear it down, we'll wait to pick it up.
Should take it yards at a time.
4 yards at a time.
Yeah, but I'm telling you that is not happening, so we need to get clarification. They telling me when I talk to them, they're not picking up whole trailers, they're not picking up.
That homeowners put in that road, Chris?
Yes, but I'm telling you what the contractor is telling me, so he said that it was discussed at the meeting with y'all, and y'all know that he's not picking it up.
Like,
Never
you
had the meeting
clarify
with
that, you remember, I did.
No, so,
Go ahead.
yeah, so the understanding that we had was that anything that he thought was outside the scope of the contract, he wanted the solid waste committee to decide if he needed to pick it up or not. That was the understanding that we had when we left that meeting. He was gonna come here to tell us that in person, because that is the agreement we have whenever we met with him. If he retracts from that agreement, then we'll have other discussions with him. But at this time, if he thought that he would not pick it up, then the solid waste committee would tell him that pile should be serviced by Waste Depot, and that was the end of it.
Can we get them on the next agenda, have them here so we can?
Request representative from Waste Depot to be here.
I can tell you that I had a resident that tore down a trailer and put about 4 yards every Wednesday, every other Wednesday.
Which was discussed in the meeting. If that occurs exactly how Mr. Farnville just described, then they should be picking it up every time.
Okay, but here's what I'm saying. When you tear down a trailer, they got a water meter there. They don't put 4 yards at a time out. They just say they put 12 yards out. Okay. They refusing to pick it up. If they pass and see if the trailer being torn down, they refusing to pick it up.
You gotta pick it up.
Keep saying they got to. I dealt with this for 3 months.
Have them at the next meeting, please.
Pictures and all.
Okay, any action?
Request by the next meeting.
Someone from their company.
Yeah,
one of them is.
That's a motion?
I don't think we're actually just.
You just gonna request. Next, we have request approval of a letter of support for a proposed community benefit plan for Assumption Parish wide, RPS LLC. Mr. Blanchard.
Mr. Alcorn and I were contacted by this company, RPS LLC. They wanted to discuss with us their plans of this carbon dioxide sequestration in the parish. And they're applying to the Department of Energy for a competitive grant. And they wanted to discuss with us what the needs of our parish were to develop a community needs plan. And as part of their application, they're going to pledge to essentially tax themselves to fund a community benefits plan that would send some funds to us. And if they are successful, then we would negotiate with them how those funds would be expended to what departments and so forth. They asked that we keep their offer confidential at this time. And the letter that we have here just recognizes that we discussed that plan and that the parish would essentially be willing to take their money for, in the future. The other thing that we discussed with them was the benefits that the parish would have in the increased ad valorem tax because of the development that they would have in the parish, as well as their willingness to fund the extension of the electric grid, the power grid on Highway 70. And currently there's water, there will be broadband there. In that area, Highway 70, there is no power. And so that would complete the infrastructure there needed to develop those properties for further use. So I provided a letter to each of you guys to see what it is, and just asking for authorization for the president and I to sign.
Well,
It's a win-win situation.
Huh?
It's a win-win opportunity.
Well, I'm sure it is, but do we have the final say so, or DNR got to find the final? DQ?
We're still going through the permitting process, I'm sure.
Right, they're gonna have to get permitted to
Even
even,
public hearing, so you talking injection wells?
Why he didn't want us to discuss the,
because it's a competitive bid. He asked for
Okay, if it
the amount that he offered us to be confidential.
but it's a competitive bid, but he's the only one that's coming up with a bid?
Yes.
So we
In
could
our
get
area.
bid from other people?
Well, the submission deadline is rapidly approaching. It's next week, so I don't think we're gonna get any other companies approaching us.
So what part of 70?
They've leased property
West, east,
on the,
east, west?
they've leased properties on both sides of Bayou Lafourche in the northern end of the parish.
It's a unique opportunity.
That's just to store CO2.
CO2.
But that's the same company, they should have some of the award too.
Right, ain't nobody hit me up yet, but anyway.
What is the
But-
dangers of this stuff,
Yeah.
Well, and I discussed that with them and in great detail, and DNR, DEQ, and the EPA regulates this industry. We'll have other times to have a public hearing for what they're gonna be doing and stuff, but at this time, it's just to acknowledge that we discussed the community benefits plan. If they reinvest in the community where they're being relocated.
Well, we don't know that.
Yeah, like if something I don't know nothing about this stuff, but if it leak or blows up or something, you know, what kind of hazard is it? And I know DEQ is responsible for a lot of things like them deals on the river where they'll catch fire and people got to evacuate their homes and all. What would be the
We don't know about it.
problem with something like that happening? Like I said, we don't even know what it is. What is it?
Carbon monoxide?
It's carbon dioxide.
Dioxide,
Is it
And
a
my
dome?
understanding is it was being, and just we had a very intro meeting with them. Our understanding was it being moved by pipeline. And it's gonna be deep well injected. So it's not gonna be stored, it's being disposed of. Am I right?
That's right. It's deep
Well,
well disposal.
what I found out on this, it's something, I think this energy transfer is gonna be transferred some through their pipelines.
Right, absolutely. So the industry on the river, they're being rated by the DEQ and the EPA on emissions of this product. And if they exceed those emissions, they heavily fine. So what this company is formed and actually out trying to do is take some of those products and deep well inject it to dispose of it. Now, from our meeting, this injection is below the water aquifers.
11,000 feet.
Yeah.
Right, so, but I think what Mr. Blanchard's talking about, I mean, there's gonna be public hearings, there's gonna be
In other
discussion.
words, we're not committing to it. We're
That's
just-
correct. We're only
Okay,
acknowledging
all
that we discussed the community benefits.
That
plan.
we receive their money.
right, Okay, we'll take their money, but we're not committing.
That is correct.
That's exactly, that is exactly what the letter says. The letter just says that we acknowledge that we met with them.
All right, I got you.
Okay. So at this point, maybe we ought to ask some more. Motion takes up.
Motion.
Motion to approve you.
So the motion by Mr. Blanchard, second by Mr. Fonzie. All in favor? Any nays? Motion carried. Request approval to accept low bid submitted for the demolition, removal, and disposal of derelict structure located at 189 Highway 1003 in Pottsville Community, Part 6.
That's the second phase?
It's $5,200.
Motion.
Okay, motion by Mr. Carter,
Second.
second by Mr. Como. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Other business as may be added by unanimous vote. Okay.
night.
Okay. Motion to adjourn by Mr. Como, second by Mr. Gas. All in favor? Any nays? Meeting adjourned.
I think we meet on next Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Meeting on the 22nd.
Right.